This audiobook takes you beyond just manifesting. It dives into the very mechanics of reality itself. You'll learn how your identity, thoughts, and energy shape your experiences. Once you grasp this code, everything changes. You'll see reality in a whole new light. Amid the usual hum of your daily life, something unusual might catch your attention. Not a shout or a loud noise, but a sense that something has shifted. This isn't a coincidence. It's a signal that found its way to you. Like a gentle whisper cutting through the distractions, it awakens you rather than startles you. You might not remember choosing to be here, but a deeper part of you did. It aligned circumstances, nudged you along, and brought you to this moment. You're not just getting new information, you're remembering something old. Long before you hit play or opened a book, your life was guiding you toward this message. It's not just about words, it's about vibration. You've felt this before, maybe in the quiet between thoughts or the clarity of a dream, or when everything around you sparkled with deeper meaning. You've sensed that odd timing of events, as if something greater was steering your path. And guess what? That something isn't out there. It's your own consciousness reflected back through your experiences. You didn't attract this moment. You aligned with it. When you started questioning your reality, wondering if there's more than what you've always known, your energy shifted and the universe responded. It's always listening. Every thought, every feeling, every belief, it hears them all and reflects them back at you. You're not here to be convinced. You're here to be reminded. Deep down, you know this truth, even if it's been hidden under years of noise and expectations. This moment is your echo. It signals the end of forgetting and the start of recognition. The world around you might not change, but you will. It all starts with a choice to trust. If this message has reached you, it's for a reason. You don't have to get everything at once. There's no need to earn or prove anything. Just let that signal guide you as you listen. Something inside you will start to shift, not just because of the words, but because of the feelings they bring. They speak not just to your mind, but to your true self, the part that knows how to shape reality with your thoughts and feelings. This is your moment, not to search, but to remember. That signal found you because you're ready to reconnect with yourself. It starts not with sound, but with meaning woven into every moment. The universe isn't just a space you occupy, it's a language you're part of. Many move through life unaware, distracted by worries and routines. But those who take a moment to pause, to listen, not just with their ears, but with their awareness, they begin to see the universe is always speaking. Not in sentences, but in synchronicities. Not with grammar, but through patterns. Not by volume, but through vibration. You're surrounded by symbols. They're in repeated numbers, the perfect timing of events, a song that plays just when you need it, or a stranger saying what you were just thinking. These aren't coincidences. They are messages meant to wake you up. The universe communicates through resonance. It talks not about what you want, but about who you are. The outside world reflects back to you. It's like a mirror where the infinite speaks in a way you can grasp. Many people learn to read words, but not the symbols in their lives. This leads to disconnection. They wait for signs while surrounded by them, asking for guidance even when answers are all around. The universe doesn't shout, it echoes. It repeats until you notice, reflects until you realize it's speaking to you, and waits for your response. When you truly begin to get this, life turns into a conversation. You stop seeing obstacles and start recognizing metaphors. A delayed flight? It's a lesson in patience. A closed door? It's not a rejection. It's a sign to change direction. That ended relationship? It's not a loss, it's just a pause. Every event, feeling, and outcome carries its own frequency. Once you tune into that, you'll start to understand what life has been trying to tell you all along. Your thoughts aren't just random. They're questions sent out into the vast field of consciousness. And the universe doesn't respond with words. It responds with experiences. Every single thing you go through is feedback. The quicker you learn to read that feedback, the faster you'll understand the universe's language. But, like learning any new language, you have to dive in. You need to be present, pay attention, and let go of strict interpretations. You weren't meant to live by chance. You were meant to live in communication, direct, intelligent, personal. Once you get this, life becomes a conversation. You start asking better questions. Instead of why is this happening to me, think, what is this teaching me? Instead of when will it change, ask, what energy am I putting out? There's no randomness in the fabric of reality. It's all about reflection. The universe uses symbols because they skip over the logical mind and speak straight to your soul. The more you listen, the clearer the message gets. This world isn't just happening around you, it's interacting with you. It's inviting you to respond, not with words, but with your presence. So instead of asking, what does this mean, shift to, what am I making this mean? That's where your true power lies. While the universe may be a language, you are the one who decodes it. You translate symbols into meaning, experiences into insights, and chaos into clarity. The universe gives you countless signals, but it's your perspective that shapes what feels real. Many people wander through life unaware that they hold the key. They wait for someone else to explain the signs or give meaning to their experiences. But meaning isn't something to find, it's something to create. And this act of creating meaning isn't passive, it's powerful. Whatever you choose to give meaning to, you elevate. Whatever you define sets your path. Imagine standing in front of a mirror. When you lift your hand, your reflection lifts its hand too. But if you misinterpret the reflection and think it moves first, you trap yourself in an illusion. Life is just like that. What you see around you is the effect, and you are the cause. But the cause doesn't come from your actions. It comes from how you interpret what's going on. A delay is just a delay until you decide it means rejection. A challenge is merely a test until you see it as punishment. A strange coincidence is simply timing until you recognize it as guidance. The meaning you give things is the frequency you put out, and that frequency shapes your future. This explains why two people can go through the same event and come away with completely different perspectives. One person might see a breakdown while the other sees a breakthrough. One feels betrayed while the other feels redirected. One notices a closed door, but the other finds a sacred detour. Your reality isn't defined by what happens to you. It's shaped by how you interpret those events. Once you understand this, you stop waiting for the universe to change. You start changing the way you view it. You shift from seeking certainty to searching for clarity. Instead of asking for specific outcomes, you seek understanding. You stop looking for signs and start assigning significance. This isn't just about being overly positive, it's about taking charge of your own story. When you take responsibility for how you interpret your experiences, you no longer let life toss you around. You become the one who sets the direction. And in that shift, you reclaim something powerful: choice. You get to decide what everything means, how it feels, and where it leads. In making those choices, you create your own path. The code was never hidden, it was just waiting for you to realize you're the one interpreting it all. Every moment, every experience, every interaction is ready to be understood, not through fear, but through awareness, not from habit, but with intention. You don't need new signs, you need to see things differently. When you change your perspective, everything changes. Beneath what you call life is an incredible hidden blueprint, not a destiny set in stone, but a living design formed by your active consciousness. Most people never notice it. They go through life as if things just happen, unaware that everything around them was crafted in the quiet of their minds. Your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs, they are the builders laying down the groundwork before things take shape. You've felt it before, that sense of something aligning even before it arrives. Moments where a choice you haven't made yet seems to shift your future, or when things unfold just as you imagined, not by magic, but because they were already formed in the unseen. The blueprint doesn't need your sight, it needs your awareness. It doesn't respond to wishes, it reacts to your frequency. Everything in your tangible world started from that subtle realm: conversations, opportunities, and more. Delays can affect how we experience life. They follow the hidden truths we hold inside, not necessarily what we want, but what we expect, what we've been rehearsing emotionally day after day. That's why some people seem to glide through life while others feel stuck. It's not about talent or hard work, it's about your energetic alignment. This invisible force isn't a punishment. It's precise. It brings you experiences that match who you truly are, not just the words you say. It reflects your silent beliefs, not your hopeful talk. You can't trick it. You can only adjust your vibe. Once you do, life starts to feel less like a fight and more like a flowing response. Think about an architect. Before building, they sketch out the design. Would you worry at a construction site just because the building isn't up yet? Or would you trust the blueprint, knowing the visible structure will follow the invisible plan? Most folks see the half-built parts of their lives and doubt what's happening. They forget everything they want to see first has to exist where the eyes can't see, but the soul can. This isn't about putting in more effort. It's about becoming aware. You're crafting your reality all the time, whether you notice or not. Every belief, every feeling, every part of your identity is shaping the blueprint. The final outcome will always reflect what you've put into it. If you want a different result, stop banging on your circumstances. Go back to the blueprint. Redesign from within. Start feeling what you want to experience later. Make the choices now that you want the world to mirror back at you, because it will. It always does. The unseen is just as real, maybe even more foundational. What you can't see isn't lost. It's simply waiting for your alignment, your clarity, for you to consciously hold the pen that's always been in your hand. Sometimes, life hands you little signs. The clock shows 1:11. A stranger suddenly says what you were just thinking. A book drops from the shelf, giving you the answer you didn't even realize you needed. These aren't just coincidences, they're synchronicities. They're not random events, but little nudges from the universe saying, "You're not alone, you're in tune." Many dismiss these moments as flukes, overlooking their real power. They can't quite put it into words, but you can experience things that don't always make sense. People who take a moment to really notice start to pick up on a pattern, a deeper connection behind the randomness. These events, while they seem unrelated, hold meaning. They're like whispers from the intelligent universe around us, sending messages straight to the heart, skipping the noise of the mind. You aren't making these moments happen. They're actually responding to your energy, your intentions, and your presence. You send out waves, and then synchronicities come back to you, perfectly timed and placed, guiding and affirming you. They aren't just tricks to wow you, they mark the connections between your inner thoughts and the world outside. When you start living in tune with your true self, the universe reflects that alignment back in surprising and beautiful ways. It's easy to overlook these signs when your mind is cluttered, rushing from one task to another, only thinking about what's next. But when you slow down, when you open yourself to the present, synchronicities begin to multiply. They thrive on your attention. When you shift from demanding to simply noticing, they become more vibrant. Trust that life isn't just happening to you, it flows through you. These signs aren't commands, but rather confirmations. They won't tell you what to do, but they show you that you're already aligned with something greater, a wiser part of yourself. These are calls from beyond the surface of your life, telling you to keep going. You're not imagining it, you are indeed in the flow. Your mind may have its doubts, but your soul knows. You've felt it, those moments of chills, pauses, and stillness where everything feels perfectly connected. That's synchronicity, reminding you of your connection to something vast and intelligent, aware of every step you take. If you want more synchronicity, become more in sync. Align your thoughts with your truth, your words with your intentions, and your actions with your heart. As you do this, the world will start to dance with you, not chaotically, but in harmony with a deeper wisdom that has always understood your rhythm. Listen closely, watch, and feel. The signals are everywhere. The call from beyond isn't far away. It's right here, waiting for you to remember that you are already part of this grand conversation. Your mind is like a container for thoughts, but it's also a processor. It's the system that brings reality to life. Just like a computer needs an operating system to turn code into images and actions, your consciousness is the software that makes the universe feel real to you. You're not just part of this world. You're running the program that shapes how everything appears. Many folks think of reality as something solid and unchanging, a stage where life unfolds. But what they see as reality is really just the interface, the experience crafted by the consciousness they're using. Two people can share the same city, work in the same office, stroll the same streets, and still live in completely different worlds. It's not because the outside is different, it's because the way they perceive and respond to it is unique to them. Your beliefs are like the coding language. Your emotions, that's the user interface. Your assumptions set the system defaults. What's stored in this inner software is what you'll keep seeing reflected in your surroundings. This isn't punishment, it's just precision. Reality isn't judging you, it's tuning into your frequency and creating experiences based on it. The great news, you can upgrade your system. You're not stuck with the programming you got from childhood, culture, or past events. Just like software gets updates, your consciousness can evolve too. But here's the twist. Your upgrade starts with awareness. The moment you begin to notice your patterns, instead of just living on autopilot, the system starts to change. Awareness is the secret key. It helps you break free from reactive living and move into intentional design. You begin asking new questions, like, what script am I running that makes this happen? Instead of blaming your circumstances, you start debugging your own system. You shift from looking for proof outside to generating it from within. Think of this world as responsive and intelligent instead of solid and separate. Every repeating thought, every story you accept as truth, is a line of code running in real time. Change that code, and your experience changes. Shift the operating system, and the reality it reveals transforms. You're not here to fix a broken world. You're here to remember that you're the programmer. Life isn't a cage, it's a reflection of the system you operate. Once you grasp this, you start to see challenges not as foes, but as messages. They're glitches showing where you need an upgrade. You don't have to control reality. You need to command it from within. The world doesn't need hacking. It needs to be recoded through an awakened mind. This isn't just philosophy. It's about how things function. Your reality isn't just random. It's created by your own design. There's a language older than words, one that you've been part of since you arrived. It doesn't communicate through sound. It resonates. It evokes feelings rather than explaining. You notice it in repeating numbers, feel it in déjà vu, and sense it when someone says exactly what you needed to hear without even knowing it. These aren't just oddities. They are signals. When you start to recognize them, you understand that life isn't random. It's always talking to you. These signals show up when something inside you stirs, aligning your inner shifts with the outer world. The universe whispers, nudging you with synchrony, flashes of insight, and perfect timing that logic can't explain. These signals are like breadcrumbs on the path to awakening. They don't point outside of you. They guide you back to the power you've forgotten you have. Symbols act like the alphabet of this silent conversation, appearing in dreams, art, and the metaphors life throws at you. A shattered mirror, a locked door, a bird pushing against the wind. Each carries meaning, not by chance, but decoded by your own awareness. What matters isn't the symbol itself, but what it stirs within you, what it reminds you of. These symbols speak directly to the soul, skipping the intellect. Triggers, however, are the loudest signals. Often misunderstood, they're not disruptions. They reveal something. If something in the world provokes or irritates you, or stirs up old pain or sudden reactions, it's life shining a light on parts of you still caught in old patterns. A trigger is like a flare in the awareness sky saying, "Look here, something wants to be acknowledged, something is ready to be released." Most people ignore signals, dismiss symbols, and run from triggers. But those who are on the path of conscious creation do the opposite. They pause, they listen, and they inquire. Don't ask why this is happening. Instead, ask what it's trying to show you. That question opens the door to transformation. Everything that comes into your life, whether it feels good or challenging, carries a message. Nothing happens without a reason. Nothing is just neutral. You're not just here to get by, you're here to live like an artist, decode your experiences, and co-create your journey. When you start to look beyond the surface of what happens and notice the symbols underneath, you stop just reacting. You begin to respond. You shift from feeling helpless to understanding that your reality is designed to teach and help you grow if you're willing to pay attention. So take a closer look at your day. Notice the numbers, the moments, the strong emotions that pop up. Don't brush them off. Decode them. Each moment is a message from a deeper part of yourself, the part that knows the way back home. You're not lost. You're guided by signals, symbols, and triggers. Together, they create the sacred story of your becoming. Many people cling to the comforting belief that life is random, that events are unrelated, and chance rules the day. That belief relieves them of responsibility and masks their power. But the truth, once you see it, sticks with you. Nothing in your reality is random. Every moment, every encounter, every coincidence carries the essence of your own energy. What seems accidental is really shaped by the vibe you give off. Randomness is just a story the logical mind tells to make sense of the unknown, trying to fit a complex reality into a simple box. But when you look deeper, you start to see that things unfold with remarkable precision. The phone rings just when you think of someone. An old book opens to the exact line you need. A stranger offers you the perfect words you've been looking for. These aren't just glitches, they're echoes, and you're the source. You're sending out vibrations. What you believe, expect, and rehearse emotionally sends signals into the world around you. That world is alive and responsive. What you receive back isn't punishment or reward, it's reflective. You're not pulling in random experiences. You're attracting outcomes that match the energy you've created with your consciousness. Believing in randomness means denying your role as a creator. It means standing in front of a mirror and overlooking the reflection. You might think the things happening around you have nothing to do with you. But once you wake up and realize that your outside world reflects your inner state, everything changes. You start asking deeper questions. Instead of wondering, why is this happening to me, you begin to ask, what is this teaching me about my patterns? You look back at events, not to place blame, but to gain understanding. You notice how arguments follow beliefs, how opportunities come after certainty, and how delays trail behind doubt. Once you see these connections, you can't unsee them. Life turns into a conversation, not just a bunch of random events. You start paying attention to your feelings before things happen. You become less reactive and more curious, less scared and more intentional. The idea that everything is random keeps people stuck. It tells them their dreams are far-fetched, that outcomes depend on luck, and meaning shows up only when looking back. But really, your life has an underlying order, one that starts within you. You're not just guessing your way through life. You're here to remember that everything is responding to you. The next time something surprises you, take a moment before labeling it coincidence. Instead, ask yourself, what did I believe that made this happen? The pattern is always there. The design is constantly at play. The myth of randomness fades away when you realize the truth. You're never at the mercy of chance. You're the one creating the signals that shape everything. Underneath, all you see is a hidden structure, not built with bricks or rules, but with vibrations. Reality might seem solid, but it's built on frequencies. The emotions you carry, the thoughts you repeat, the beliefs you stand by, these aren't just passive feelings. They are the coordinates guiding your reality. You aren't merely reacting to what's around you, you are creating it, wave by wave. Everything is energy. This isn't just a philosophical idea, it's physics. Energy is organized by frequency. Just like a radio tunes into a specific station and only picks up what's on that wavelength, your consciousness connects to experiences that match the signals you give off. Joy and gratitude resonate at one frequency, while fear and lack exist on another. You don't experience life based on what's out there. You experience it based on what you're tuned to. Your mood isn't just a feeling, it's a magnet. And it's incredibly precise. You wake up feeling uneasy, and your day can feel like a struggle. Why is that? When you're on a roll, suddenly opportunities pop up everywhere. The universe isn't judging you, it's reflecting you. It's not about punishment or praise, but about alignment. It brings you what resonates with you. That's the law of the universe, and it's always at work. A common mistake people make is thinking they need to change their situation to feel better. But really, it's the other way around. You've got to shift your energy first, and then your world will change. Imagine it like a projector shining light through a lens. Your mood colors everything you see. You can't just say you want abundance while feeling afraid. You can't just wish for love while drowning in self-doubt. The universe doesn't react to words, it responds to energy. and energy never lies. This isn't about pretending to be positive. It's about being genuinely in tune with what you want. Can you tap into the feeling of what you desire right now, even before it happens? Can you feel at peace before the challenge is resolved? Can you own your worth before someone else affirms it? If you can, you condense time. You stop waiting and start choosing. You don't have to chase after your future, you just have to send it out into the world. You don't need everything around you to shift for you to feel differently. You need to feel differently, and then the world will shift. That's why the same situation can seem completely different based on how you feel. It's not about the situation, it's about your vibe. Your inner signal is what invites reality to respond. So next time you're feeling stuck, don't focus on what to do next. Instead, ask yourself, what energy am I giving off? Then shift it. You can change your energy through deep breaths, mindful thoughts, being present, gratitude, music, movement, whatever helps align you with what you desire. Once you do that, watch as your reality starts to rearrange quickly, because the universe isn't waiting for you to change. It's waiting for you to send out a new vibe, one that only you can choose to share. There's a compass inside you, more precise than logic, quicker than reasoning. It doesn't use words or graphs, it speaks through feelings. Emotions aren't just reactions to what happens around you, they are signals guiding you. They tell you when you're in sync with your true self or when you're off track. But many ignore these signals, thinking feelings are just pesky nuisances instead of valuable feedback. The reality is, every emotion you experience is a message. When you learn to decode your emotions, you stop just reacting and start responding. Think back to those times when something felt off but you couldn't quite put your finger on it, or those moments when everything felt just right without any explanation. That wasn't luck, that was clarity. Joy, it's a sign you're on the right path. Frustration, that's you trying to force something that just doesn't fit. Fear often means you're on the brink of something new. And sadness, it's not a weakness. It signals that something valuable needs your attention or maybe even your release. Your emotions don't lie. They show the gap between what you think and what you truly know. A lot of people have been taught to ignore their feelings, to brush them off as irrational, or to shove them down to keep being productive. But emotions aren't the enemy. They're your early warning system, signaling where you stand on the frequency of life. Each feeling is a snapshot of your alignment, and every negative emotion, it's not a problem. It's an invitation, a gentle nudge to reconsider your thoughts and align back with your truth. Imagine driving a car while ignoring those warning lights flashing on your dashboard. Eventually, things will break down. Emotions work the same way. They're your internal dashboard, lighting up to guide you, not punish you. If you feel anxiety, ask yourself, what thought is pulling me away from the present? If envy creeps in, think, what desire have I ignored that this is pointing me toward? Every feeling you experience is a breadcrumb leading you back to clarity. And here's the real power in knowing this. Once you stop fearing your emotions, they become your best allies. You start to move with your inner rhythm instead of fighting against it. Decisions made under pressure fade away, and you begin to follow a more natural alignment. Life shifts from being a struggle to a journey of navigation. You readjust course whenever you sense you're off track. Your emotions are sacred messengers. They don't disrupt your peace. They guide you toward it by showing you what needs acknowledgement or change. When you honor your feelings, they soften. When you listen, they lead you. Following their guidance brings clarity, calmness, and intuition into your life. You're not meant to feel numb. You're here to feel deeply and know deeply, from within, not from outside voices. The map to your true self isn't hidden. It lives in every rise and fall of your emotional state. All you need to do now is listen and decode it, moment by moment. There's a quiet power at play. It reshapes your reality, not by force, but through awareness. A lot of folks look outside themselves for change when they feel uneasy inside, but those who truly grasp how creation works know it's the other way around. When you shift your awareness, your reality begins to rewrite itself. Instantly, not later. You've been taught that change takes hard work. That transformation is a step-by-step process requiring time and effort. But the reality is, it's not about time, it's about frequency. Your awareness is what tunes that frequency. When you notice a pattern that used to run your life without you even knowing, that pattern starts to fade. It can't withstand the light of your observation. You don't need to fix anything. Just see it clearly, without judgment. Awareness isn't about overthinking or analyzing. It's just being present. When you bring that kind of attention to a belief, a habit, or an emotion, it starts to lose its grip on you. You've experienced this before. In a moment of clarity, something old and burdensome can suddenly fall away. An argument that didn't matter anymore, a fear that felt silly once you named it. That wasn't luck. That was awareness at work, breaking down the old patterns. Your life runs on invisible programs, beliefs you picked up, stories you told yourself, fears you accepted as normal. Most of these operate beneath the surface, holding power only if you don't see them. The moment you bring your attention to them, you create a space between you and those programs. In that space, you regain your choices, and those choices can rewrite your story. This is why nothing changes until you do. Not because you're broken, but because unawareness keeps you stuck in loops you don't recognize. As soon as you step into awareness, the system starts to reorganize. You begin to see the illusion instead of living within it, and the world around you adjusts to your new state. You don't have to struggle harder. You need to wake up. You don't need to do more. You need to see deeper. Awareness is the tool that cuts through the illusion of limits. It doesn't demand force, just clarity. And with clarity, your frequency shifts, transforming your reality. So next time you feel stuck, don't ask, "What should I do?" Ask yourself, "What do I need to see? What am I still missing?" Take a moment with that question. Let it shine a light on the blind spots, the old patterns, the beliefs you didn't even know were there. Once you see it, everything shifts. Not because you forced it, but because you finally recognized it. Awareness isn't just sitting there. It's a powerful force in creation. It's the key you've always had. For years, people have talked about the law of attraction like it's some hidden secret to unlocking everything. They say thoughts turn into things, desires become real, and it's all about asking and receiving. That's true, but it only touches the surface. There's something deeper lurking beneath, the law of resonance. That's the real builder of your reality. Attraction isn't about just wanting something. It's about matching energy. You don't pull what you desire to you. You become what you already are. The universe doesn't listen to just your words. It responds to how you feel. You can talk about being wealthy while sending out vibes of lack. You can dream of love while feeling scared when someone gets close. What comes your way isn't about your requests, but the energy you put out. This is why many get frustrated with manifesting. They do the visualizations, write affirmations, create vision boards, but underneath, they still carry doubts, feelings of waiting, feelings of not being enough. The universe, always neutral and incredibly wise, reflects that energy back at you. Not to punish you, but to clarify. It's not rejecting your dreams, it's showing you what you're really vibrating with. Resonance is the true driver of manifestation. It explains why two people can say the same thing and get totally different outcomes. One person says, "I am abundant," and life changes for them. Another says the same words, but nothing shifts. The difference isn't in the words, it's in the energy behind them. One speaks from a place of knowing, while the other speaks from hope. One radiates the truth of already having it. The other sends out a signal of still needing. So if you want to truly harness the law of attraction, you need to dig deeper, straight to resonance. Tune your inner signal to match your desired reality, not as something in the future, but as your present identity. You have to become the version of you that already has what you want, who lives it, who breathes it. And when that happens, attraction becomes irrelevant because you're already living it. You're not just waiting anymore, you're choosing. You've tapped into a reality where what you want is already here. You don't just attract what you desire, you pull in what matches your vibe. That's the law, always has been, always will be. So, instead of wondering where it is, ask yourself what part of you might not align with what you truly want. This is the deeper truth behind all the catchy phrases and simple lessons. Once you grasp it, manifesting turns from a struggle into something that flows naturally, like it's meant to be, because you're finally in tune with it. There's a moment when the illusion starts to fade. It doesn't always come with a bang. Sometimes it sneaks in quietly. You realize that the way you've been living just doesn't fit who you really are. This isn't a one-time event. It's a shift in your thinking. You stop getting wrapped up in the surface stuff and start reconnecting with your true self. At first, nothing might change on the outside, but inside, everything begins to shift. For some, this awakening is sparked by a crisis, a loss, or heartbreak, a moment so heavy that their old self just crumbles. For others, it's more subtle, a feeling or a whisper saying, "There's got to be more than this." It feels like reality is too intricate, too meaningful to be mere chance. However it hits you, it leaves one clear lesson. Your life isn't just happening to you, it's happening through you. This marks the start of real empowerment, not the loud, controlling kind, but a quiet inner awareness that you're the one creating your reality. Once you wake up, you stop being the victim and start owning the role of the author. You realize your thoughts aren't just your own, they attract things to you. Your feelings aren't just reactions, they send out signals. Every choice you make isn't trivial, it shapes your entire world. Awakening doesn't make life simpler, it makes it clearer. You start noticing the connections, how your inner state reflects into your outside world, and how those patterns you thought were fate are really just echoes of beliefs you weren't aware of. As your understanding deepens, so does your responsibility. Now that you're aware, you can't place the blame elsewhere. It's time to embrace your frequency, your influence. The truth has always been there, waiting for you to discover it. Awakening isn't just a spot on a map, it's a doorway. Once you step through, everything shifts. The ordinary becomes rich with meaning. What felt like delays turns into divine timing. Triggers transform into teachers. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening?" you start to wonder, "What am I meant to learn?" At this awakening moment, you regain power, not to control or predict what happens around you, but to shift your own state, choose your viewpoint, and elevate your frequency. That's the true power, and once you tap into it, you'll always remember it. You don't just awaken once, it's a continuous journey. Every moment you choose to be present instead of reacting, clear instead of conditioned, aware instead of on autopilot, you're awakening again and again. This moment isn't random. It's your echo, your signal. Now you're awake enough to hear it. There's a change that occurs when you stop trying to fix everything and start observing. You're not a victim in a chaotic world. You're the calm center from which it all unfolds. You're not just your thoughts, you're the awareness behind them. You're not merely feeling emotions, you're the space where they come and go. Once you grasp this, you reclaim an empowerment that can't be taken away, because it's always been within you. You've been conditioned to react after things happen. But there's a profound truth lying beneath that habit. What you consistently observe, you influence. The moment you start noticing something, you begin to affect it. Your attention isn't neutral, it's creative. It amplifies and commands the universe to respond. This isn't just a theory, it's a fact from physics. The observer effect in quantum mechanics shows that particles change just by being observed. Reality doesn't unfold separately from your awareness. It interacts with it, instantly and closely. You're not just watching life pass you by, you're shaping it from within. Many don't realize this power. They think they're just spectators. But once you start observing consciously, everything shifts. You'll begin to see the patterns in your own perception. Fear twists your perspective, doubt pulls you back. Love, on the other hand, opens doors and frees you from being caught up in your reactions. Instead, you start choosing where to focus your energy. The real strength of being an observer isn't in changing things on the surface. It's in how you see them. When you look at something without pushing against it, you loosen its hold. Face a fear without judging it and watch it begin to fade away. When you embrace a desire with trust instead of desperation, you draw it closer. It's not about trying to fix what's real. It's about being fully present, aware, and not blending into the circumstances. You don't have to battle your situation. Just see it for what it is. The moment you do that, you change the way you engage with the world. And guess what? The world responds. What felt solid starts to bend. What seemed impossible begins to unfold. Not because you're pushing more, but because you've stopped resisting and started observing from a higher perspective. Being an observer doesn't mean being distant. It means staying deeply connected without getting tangled up. You realize your awareness shapes energy into form. Your power isn't in your actions, but in how you perceive every situation, every moment, every thought. Each one is an invitation to see, not blindly but mindfully. Because in that act of observation, you awaken the creator within you. The observer holds power not by trying to control reality, but by recognizing that they are the source from which reality flows. Everything you think, feel, and believe echoes back to you from the universe. This isn't just a saying, it's how it works. Life doesn't hear your words, it feels your vibe. Once it picks that up, it reflects it back through circumstances, people, patterns, and events. You're not merely experiencing life, you're tuning into your inner frequency expressed in the language of time and form. That's why some patterns keep repeating, not because you're cursed, but because you're unknowingly sending out a signal that life mirrors back to you. It doesn't consider good or bad, wanted or unwanted. It simply echoes, not to trap you, but to teach you. It holds up a clear mirror so you can see what you've been broadcasting all along. You've felt those moments when pure joy bubbles up for no reason, and suddenly everything aligns perfectly. People smile and life flows. Doors open easily, traffic clears, the call comes through. It's not just chance, it's connection. The world reflects your inner state. The more you're aware of how you feel, the more intentional that reflection becomes. But when you hold on to fear, the reflection changes. You face delays, arguments, missed chances. It's not punishment, it's a mirror showing you what's within. It's a chance to pause and ask, what is this showing me about myself? The answer is never out there. It's always in the energy you're putting out first. That's why being aware is so crucial. The reflection is honest. It reveals the truth about who you are. Once you learn to read it, your life turns into feedback for your growth. You stop pointing fingers, you start listening, you stop reacting and begin adjusting. The echo principle isn't always instant, like a shout in a canyon. Sometimes there's a wait. You send out a signal, but the response takes time. That's when many people give up. They change their thoughts but doubt the quiet. They shift their energy but get anxious about the delay. But the echo is always on its way back to you. It might take different paths, but it must return. What you send out will come back. That's just how it works. So, what are you sending out? What signal are your thoughts, feelings, and identity broadcasting? Are you coming from scarcity or fullness, from fear or trust, from desperation or a sense of being whole? You don't need to chase outcomes. Just become the version of yourself that reflects what you want to receive. When you master this echo, life won't catch you off guard anymore. Instead, you'll feel acknowledged by it. You'll see its responses as meaningful, accurate, and smart, not because you know what's coming, but because you've learned to hear your own soul calling back to you. There comes a time when you notice the same situations keep reappearing, just dressed up differently. A new job, same frustration. A fresh relationship, same heartbreak. Another opportunity, same collapse. It can feel like life is stuck on repeat, and in some ways it is. This is the cycle of recurrence. A pattern that persists until you notice it, feel it, and change the energy that created it. Not because life is cruel, but because it's wise. It loves you enough to give you the same lesson until you truly understand it. Your power. Most people don't realize they're stuck in a loop. They blame bad luck, timing, or others. But the truth? It's simpler and actually empowering. What you don't fix, you keep experiencing, not as a punishment, but as a clear message. Life keeps showing you the script you've written but never edited. And until you rewrite that script, the loop just keeps going. Each loop is built on a core belief. That belief becomes an expectation. Then, that expectation acts like a filter. It decides what you notice and how you react, reinforcing your belief. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy right in front of you. You keep seeing what you are. You keep confirming what you believe until one day, everything shifts. The change starts when you spot the repetition. Not with anger, but with curiosity. Instead of asking, why does this keep happening? Ask, what do I still believe that makes this feel so familiar? Once you recognize the loop, you step back. Suddenly, you're the observer. And the observer? They have the power to break the pattern. Breaking the loop doesn't mean fighting it. It means decoding it. Understanding the role you've played without even knowing. feeling those emotions you've pushed aside, speaking the truths you've held back, choosing a different response instead of just reacting. Each time you respond with presence instead of your old habits, the loop weakens. Each pause before the automatic reaction, every time you do something your past self wouldn't have done, shifts the balance. There's beauty in the loop. It brings clarity. It shows you the part of you that's still ready to evolve. It nudges you to a higher level of awareness, not through force, but through repetition, until the message is loud enough to catch your attention. When you decide to change not just how you act, but who you are, that's when the loop ends. Your life opens up to a new timeline. This recurring loop isn't a failure, it's feedback. It's your soul's way of getting your attention about what's unfinished, not to trap you, but to set you free. Once you truly see the pattern, you don't have to fight it. You just need to stop feeding it. In that moment of choice, the loop fades away and your path becomes fresh and new. Not because life has changed, but because you have. Look around you and you'll start to see something amazing. Patterns, spirals, seashells, the branches of trees. The orbit of planets and the changing seasons aren't just random. They're signs of a greater intelligence at work. The same force that forms galaxies shapes your life. The unique pattern of a snowflake mirrors your experiences. Once you notice this, you see that nothing is chaotic. Everything moves in rhythm, with structure and purpose. Nature reflects how the universe works. It never rushes, yet everything gets done. A flower waits to bloom, the tide follows the moon, and a tree grows at its own pace without apologizing for dropping leaves. Everything has its own timing, rooted in a hidden order, just like your life. Your journey isn't a jumble of random events, it's a fractal, a repeating design revealing deeper truths in new ways. What seems like coincidence? It's usually a cycle. Feeling stuck? Often, you're just in a phase of growth. Just as winter leads to spring, times of tension often come before growth. When you don't see this pattern, it's easy to feel like you've failed, to try and push things faster. But remember, patterns don't react to panic, they respond to calm. When you connect with the natural rhythm within these patterns, you start moving with life instead of against it. Everything unfolds in cycles until it evolves. That's the essence of personal growth. You're not stuck, you're on a spiral. Spirals revisit familiar places, but from a new perspective. You may find yourself in a similar situation, but now you have more awareness, more tools, more understanding. That's not failure, that's refinement. It's evolution happening in real time. Recognizing these universal patterns helps you relax into your own process. You stop insisting things happen your way and begin to trust life's natural rhythm. No more thinking something's wrong just because progress feels slow. You start to spot transitions, the quiet end of one thing and the gentle start of another. Just like the moon has its phases, you're always in motion, even if it feels like you're standing still. This realization brings peace and clarity. You won't feel like a victim of random events anymore. Instead, you see you're part of a beautiful dance, guided by something wise and ancient. Your role isn't to control the pattern, it's to listen, learn, and align with it. In doing so, you harmonize with life. The rhythm that moves the stars is never questioned by nature. You shouldn't doubt it either. The pattern isn't just out there, it's within you. It's in your breath, your thoughts, and the calm order hidden in every part of your life. Trust it. Follow it. You'll find that what felt like chaos is really a map to who you are becoming. Every experience was once just a possibility. Every relationship, every opportunity, every lesson was floating around, waiting for the right moment to become real. Possibilities aren't rare. They're endless. What makes one become real isn't luck, but alignment. And alignment isn't random. It follows a pattern, a consistent rhythm that shows how thoughts turn into things and dreams turn into reality. Most people don't notice this pattern. They believe that manifestation is random, that some get lucky while others don't. But if you look more closely, you'll see a clear system at play. Those who get what they want aren't just hoping for it. They live in the frequency of what they desire, even before it arrives. They've tuned themselves to the reality they want to experience. Their thoughts, feelings, and identity all align with what they're bringing in. That alignment creates a pattern, and it's this pattern that responds to possibility. Think of possibilities like a library of futures. You can't force your way in. You enter by your frequency. The more aligned your inner world is, the easier it is for life to match your chosen potential. This is why change can feel tough at first. It's not that possibilities aren't there. It's that the current pattern you're in doesn't match them yet. But as you start to shift that pattern, even a little, new opportunities begin to show up. Paths that seemed blocked suddenly open up, not because the world changed, but because your signal did. The pattern of possibility isn't a straight line. It's more like a hologram. It's not about steps, it's about states. The more you embody the energy of what you want, the more inevitable it becomes. But not because you earned it, rather because you became it. That's why two people can chase the same goal but have completely different outcomes. One is stuck in doubt and delay, while the other is in trust and embodiment. The outcome doesn't care about how hard you work. It's all about resonance. You felt this in your own life when everything flowed, when the right people showed up just when you needed them. When the next step appears easily, it's not just luck. That's you tapping into a flow. The clarity, the feelings, the intention, they all line up just right, revealing what was once hidden. You accessed a reality that was always there but felt out of reach before. This is huge. You don't have to chase your dreams. You just need to change your pattern. Break the cycle of doubt, unworthiness, or fear. Replace it with a mindset of knowing, accepting, and becoming. That change starts within. It's all about the small, consistent choices in how you think and feel. By doing this, you align with what's already possible. Possibility isn't something passive, it's precise. It's waiting for you to catch up with the life that's already set for your next step forward. You carry a quiet signal with you everywhere. It's not just in your words or actions, though they reveal it. It's more often unconscious, shaping every single experience. This signal is your expectation, your beliefs about how life works for you. Like a magnet, it attracts proof that supports those beliefs. This is the self-fulfilling signal. The frequency you put out is something the universe can't help but respond to. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you expect. Expectation is not hope. Hope feels soft and uncertain, still clinging to doubt. Expectation is strong and quietly guides your reality. Whether you anticipate things to go wrong or to turn out well, life pays attention. It listens, not to your desires, but to your default mindset. It doesn't ask what you want, it reacts to what you continuously send out. Think back. Remember the job you thought you'd never get and didn't? The relationship you were sure would end and did? Or the awkward conversation you expected, but it happened anyway? Life wasn't against you, it just responded to the signals you were sending, even unknowingly. You set the tone, and the world followed suit. But this goes both ways. Remember those times when you just knew things would turn out well? You didn't doubt or overthink it. You just had this calm certainty about it. And because that signal was clear, so was the outcome. The universe matched your energy, not your words. Things flowed not from force, but from alignment. This is why being self-aware is so powerful. The more you tune into the vibe you're putting out, the more you can change it. Not by pretending to be happy or hiding your fears, but by choosing a fresh foundation, a new way of thinking. When you start to go through life with a calm belief that you're supported, guided, and in sync with the universe, life starts to reflect that faith back to you. It's not about luck. It's about finally being aligned with what you truly want. This self-fulfilling signal isn't about being perfect. It's about being consistent. It's about what you believe when you're not focused on manifesting something, like when you're brushing your teeth, walking into a room, or just sitting quietly. Those everyday moments make a bigger impact than loud affirmations shouted over doubt. They represent your steady inner frequency, shaping everything around you. So, take a moment to ask yourself, what do I really expect from life? What do I assume about love, money, timing, and success? Those beliefs are right in front of you, living in the stories you tell yourself, the feelings you repeat, and the choices you make automatically. The moment you become aware of them, you can change the signal you send out, one of trust, worthiness, and certainty. Life isn't ignoring you, it mirrors you. Change the signal, and the reflection shifts too. In the end, the world can only give you what you've chosen to believe. Everywhere you go, you're looking into a mirror. Not just one that shows your face, but one that reflects your inner world, your beliefs, your stories, your self-image. The people you meet, the situations you find yourself in, even the challenges you face, they're all part of that mirror. They aren't separate from you. They're extensions of the energy you project. This is the mirror effect, the deepest feedback system we have. Many people think reality happens to them, that it exists out there, separate from who they are on the inside. But once you realize that life is happening through you, the mirror becomes clear. What you see in the outside world isn't random. It's a direct reflection of who you are. And this reflection isn't just accurate, it's sacred. It shows you your vibration, whether you notice it or not. The mirror doesn't lie. It reveals the truth of your assumptions. If you believe people can't be trusted, you'll meet those who prove you right. If you see yourself as unworthy, your life will echo that feeling. You might face rejection, feel invisible, or notice a lack of abundance. This isn't to hurt you, but to highlight what you're holding on to. It's not punishment. It's a wake-up call. The reflection won't change until you do, and that's where your power lies. Once you grasp that life mirrors your state of being, you stop blaming others. You quit trying to control everything outside and start focusing on what's within. The biggest shift isn't about what's out there, it's about what's going on inside you. When you change how you see yourself, the mirror reflects that change. When you carry a new vibe, a fresh story, a raised standard, your life begins to reorganize. You don't alter the mirror by just touching it. You change it by shifting the image at the core. It's all about your thoughts, the identity you embrace, and the feelings you live in. These are what the mirror responds to. When you stop trying to fix what you see and start evolving into who you want to be, the reflection changes naturally. This is why doing inner work is crucial. It's not just an option, it's necessary. Every time you grow your consciousness, your reality adapts. When you forgive, release, or rise up, the mirror becomes clearer. The beauty of this realization is that you don't need to wait for life to validate anything. You become the one who sets the tone. You're the source, not just the seeker. The mirror effect isn't just a metaphor, it's a law. It's how the universe reveals what you believe, giving you the chance to choose again. Once you see it for what it is, you stop reacting and start responding. You stop pleading and begin aligning. You realize the world isn't judging you, it's showing you who you are. The moment you shift, everything shifts with you. You're living in a kind of matrix, not one of machines or illusions, but one built from your beliefs. These beliefs mold your perception, emotions, identity, and ultimately shape your reality. They act like invisible coding, telling the universe how to react to you. Most of these beliefs were formed long before you even knew you could choose them. They stemmed from childhood, culture, and repetition, and now they're quietly running the show. Beliefs aren't just random thoughts, they're the assumptions you live by. They dictate your expectations, what you accept, and what you never question. A belief like, "I'm not good enough," doesn't just linger in your mind, it influences your opportunities and colors your relationships. When you believe something like, "life is hard," it twists how you see yourself. This belief doesn't just sit there. It builds resistance and makes everything feel like a struggle. It creates a loop. What you believe impacts what you experience, and those experiences reinforce your beliefs. The tricky part? These beliefs often go unnoticed. You don't really see them. It's like wearing glasses you forget are there. They change how you interpret life. You might hear praise, but only hear the doubt behind it. When opportunities come your way, you shrink back, convinced they're not meant for you. All the while, the universe responds not to defy you, but to match your frequency perfectly. Here's the truth many miss. Beliefs aren't facts. They're choices you keep feeding. And guess what? Anything chosen can be unchosen. Anything taken for granted can be rewritten. The moment you become aware of a belief, you start loosening its grip. You begin to ask where it came from, why it's there, and if it's really true or just something you've repeated so often that it feels real. That question can unlock the matrix, because when you identify the core beliefs shaping your reality, you can reclaim the power to shift it. You stop reacting and start reprogramming. You select a belief that matches the life you want, not the one you've settled for. Even before the outside world changes, you'll notice a shift inside. The weight of that belief lightens and things start to clear up. This isn't about pretending everything's okay. It's about taking charge of your narrative. You transform your reality by choosing beliefs that align with your truth, not your fears, not your past, but your potential. The belief matrix isn't meant to trap you. It's there to show you what you accepted so you can choose again. You're not stuck, you're coded, and every code can be rewritten. Start here. Start now. The moment you shift a belief, you don't just change your mind, you change your world. You'll hit a point where you realize the life you've been living isn't truly yours. It's been molded by other people's voices, cultural expectations, and rules you never agreed to but went along with. At the heart of it all lies your core programming. Deep down, we all hold beliefs that shape how far we go, how much we allow ourselves to achieve, and how worthy we think we are. But guess what? These beliefs aren't fixed. Think of them as a script you've been following, and you have the power to rewrite that script. Most people just play along with what they've been told day after day. I'm not good enough. Money is tough to get. People always leave. These thoughts seem like facts because they've been said so many times. But just because something is repeated doesn't mean it's true. It's just conditioning. What was put into your mind without your choice can be changed by your intention. The first step in changing these core beliefs is awareness. You need to take a step back and observe your patterns. Pay attention to your reactions, your limits, those times when you hold back or sabotage yourself. Don't do this to shame yourself. Do it to see the code behind your beliefs. Every time you say, "I can't," or "that's just who I am," a belief is surfacing. Remember, these beliefs aren't who you are. They're old programs running on autopilot until you decide to step in. Once you spot a belief, the power shifts back to you. You're no longer a character in someone else's story. You're the one writing the code. And with that realization, you can start to make changes. You don't have to erase your past. Simply overlay it with something new, a fresh belief, a new story that matches where you want to go, not where you've been. This isn't just about saying affirmations once. It's a commitment. Rewiring your mind takes conscious repetition. When an old belief pops up, swap it out, but do it with energy. Change "I am not worthy" to "I am already enough." You must feel it, live it, and act from it. The new belief has to be a part of you, not just something you memorize. As you do this, your outer world starts to change. Maybe not right away, but it will happen. Your reality is shaped by what you believe to be true. When you choose to believe something new, your reality has to adjust. You'll encounter people who reflect your worth back to you. Opportunities arise where you once saw roadblocks. Life feels less like a test and more like a reaction to what you believe. You're not broken. You've just been programmed. And while that programming isn't your fault, changing it is your responsibility. This is what transformation is all about. Not just fixing what's wrong, but upgrading what's outdated. The moment you commit to a new belief, you start crafting a new life, thought by thought, choice by choice, code by code. You are not defined by your past. You are the creator of your future. You're the author of your own future, and the pen has always been in your hand. Every desire sends a message. Every belief shapes the way that message is received. And every experience you have, it's just feedback based on that message. This is how manifestation works. It's not just a one-time deal where you create something and wait for it to show up. You're always sending out signals. You're always receiving. And you're always fine-tuning your approach. It's a living, breathing process that responds to your current feelings and thoughts. Most people don't see they're stuck in a loop. They think things just happen by chance, and that results come solely from actions. But the truth is, manifestation starts long before you act. It begins with your thoughts and emotions. It's that quiet agreement you have with reality about what's possible for you, and that agreement is upheld all the time. What you believe gets broadcasted out into the world. What you broadcast, you attract. What you attract, you experience. And how you interpret those experiences can either reinforce or change your beliefs. Round and round it goes. That's why being aware is so crucial for creating what you want. Without it, you can get stuck in unconscious loops, ending up with the same results, feeling frustrated, and unknowingly reinforcing limiting beliefs. You might say, "It always happens this way," and the universe responds exactly as you expect. The loop gets tighter, your signal becomes stronger, and what was merely a fleeting thought turns into your reality. But when you become aware, you can interrupt that loop. You start to see the patterns, not as punishment, but as vital information. You understand that your outer world isn't personal, it's precise. It reflects where your energy is aligned and where it isn't. Disappointment isn't a failure, it's a mirror. Delays aren't rejection, they reflect your current signal. This is where your true power lies. When you view reality as feedback instead of fate, you gain freedom. You can observe without judgment, shift your beliefs, and send out a new signal that's rooted in intention rather than reaction. When you do that, the loop changes. New experiences come into play. Fresh evidence appears, reinforcing your new beliefs and making them stronger, more natural, and more integrated. Remember, the feedback loop isn't your enemy, it's your teacher. It doesn't judge. What you desire mirrors who you are. But the moment you shift your identity, everything changes. That's why inner changes matter more than just pushing for results. Until you adjust your vibe, nothing will truly shift. So ask yourself, what's life teaching me right now? What belief is echoing through this experience? And how can I change my signal starting today? You don't need to break the loop, you just need to refresh it. Remember, manifesting isn't a task, it's something you're always doing. The real question is, are you doing it with intention? The loop will keep spinning no matter what. You choose what gets repeated. Think of each room like having a thermostat, an invisible control keeping the temperature steady. Go above or below that comfort zone, and it swings back to normal. Most people don't get that their emotions work the same way. You have an inner thermostat set not for comfort, but for what's familiar. It regulates the joy, peace, love, and abundance you'll allow. If chaos was your norm, peace can feel strange. If struggle was your constant, ease can seem suspicious. So when something good happens, you might push it away, not because you don't want it, but because it's too much for your inner setting. The thermostat kicks in and you revert to old patterns. That's why people win the lottery and lose it all. Why they find love then drive it away. Why success comes, but so does anxiety. It's not that they didn't want to change. Their inner system just wasn't built to handle it. The outside world can shift, but if your inner setting stays the same, you'll keep falling back to your emotional baseline. This baseline shapes your reality. It sets limits on how much good you can embrace, how long joy can last, and how deeply you can feel peace. Unless you elevate that setting, you'll default to what you've unconsciously decided feels safe. But that choice isn't etched in stone, it's just familiar. And remember, familiarity isn't the same as truth. Raising your emotional thermostat isn't about forcing yourself to be positive, it's about embracing what you truly deserve. It's all about growing your capacity. It's about sitting in the uncomfortable feelings of new joy, unearned ease, and unconditional love until they feel like home. Until your mind stops seeing them as threats and starts seeing them as the new normal. Each time you go through this, it's like adjusting a thermostat. The baseline rises. What once seemed too good to be true becomes just part of your life. This is the real work of transformation, not just attracting new things, but getting yourself ready to accept and hold on to them. It's about expanding what you think you're allowed to feel. When you start to tune into higher frequencies like gratitude, contentment, and enthusiasm, you don't just feel better, you project that out into the world. And guess what? Your reality starts to match this new vibe perfectly. So take a moment to check in with yourself. How much joy can you really handle? How long can you stay in a good place before you feel the urge to shake things up? How much love can you let in before you push it away? The answers to these questions reveal your setting. From there, you get to decide, stay where you've been or turn the dial up. Just take it one breath, one moment, and one elevated feeling at a time. Because when your emotional thermostat changes, everything changes along with it. There comes a time in your journey when simply feeling inspired isn't enough. You've heard the truths, felt the shifts, and tasted the possibilities, but something pulls you back into old ways, old habits, and familiar outcomes. This isn't a failure, it's information. It signals that it's time to dive deeper. Look beyond what you want and examine the unseen patterns that are still running your life. This is the moment to take stock, a kind, conscious look at the loops you're caught in. You're not broken, you're just programmed. And that programming isn't hidden away in some distant mystery. It's right in front of you, revealed in the feelings you avoid, the emotions you push down, and the choices you keep making. This pattern audit isn't about blame, it's about understanding. You start by noticing what is, not what you wish were different. Look at the results in your life, especially the ones that hurt or frustrate you. Ask yourself a new question. Instead of wondering why this is happening to you, think about what pattern you're playing out that makes this situation predictable. Start with your relationships. Do you keep attracting the same dynamics, always ending up in similar situations? That's not bad luck. It's a code, a belief about your worth, a wound looking for validation. There's this constant feeling nudging you to check in on your finances. Are you hitting a ceiling you can't break through? That's not your limit. It's just a belief about safety and what you think you deserve. Now think about your health, your emotions, your habits. What patterns keep popping up, no matter how hard you try to move past them? The answers aren't out there somewhere. They're in the echoes of your own experience. This is where you become the detective of your life. You look back at the patterns, not to get stuck in the old story, but to uncover the root cause. Once you find it, that's where the change happens. You can rewrite your narrative. But here's the thing, it takes honesty. You have to look at yourself clearly, without judgment. You might realize some of your habits are comfortable, even if they hurt. A part of you might be scared of what healing means. Sometimes, growth means letting go of who you were just to allow a new, thriving version of you to emerge. There's freedom in this process. When you examine your patterns, you interrupt them. You reclaim your story. You stop being a character in a repetitive script and become the editor. Each new insight brings fresh choices, new paths. You start to reshape not just your thoughts, but your very identity. This is the breakthrough moment, when you stop living on autopilot and start crafting your life intentionally. It's not about making the old patterns disappear. It's about recognizing them. Once you see them, you can change them. That's the magic of the audit. It's about understanding how your life works and opting for something better. Every thought you have sends out ripples, not just inside your mind, but into the world around you. Most people think their thoughts are private, confined to their own heads. But thoughts are powerful. They carry energy. They vibrate. When you focus on a thought, it begins to radiate outward, affecting your emotions and even reality itself. This is the ripple effect of thought, a quiet force shaping your world before you even take action. It starts small. A single thought of lack can create a feeling of restriction. That restriction impacts your tone, your posture, and your choices. Maybe you decline an opportunity, avoid a tough conversation, or hesitate to ask for what you want. Because of that one thought, your outer reality shifts. Doors stay shut, connections fade. When you hesitate, outcomes tend to mirror that retreat. You might catch yourself saying, "See, it never works out for me." But let's be clear, it's not fate, it's a ripple effect. Now picture a new thought of certainty popping up. You feel it in your chest, a calm kind of knowing that something good is on its way. You don't force it, you don't chase it, you just carry that vibe with you throughout your day. You start speaking differently, you see things differently. People respond to you more openly, and situations tend to align smoothly. And again, you find yourself saying, "See, I just had a feeling it would turn out like this." That wasn't luck, it was another ripple. Your thoughts aren't isolated, they trigger a chain reaction. They stir up emotions that shape your energy, guide your actions, and influence your outcomes. Those outcomes, in turn, feed back into the original thought. That's the cycle. The starting point is always the thought. Think of it as a seed or spark. The more aware you are of that seed, the more power you have to shape what comes from it. That's why keeping your mind clear is a form of spiritual strength. It's not about critiquing every thought with fear. It's about noticing the patterns. Do your thoughts lift you up or drag you down? Do they expand your energy or shrink it? Do they match your dreams, or do they contradict them? You don't have to believe everything your mind throws at you. You can choose, and that choice creates a different ripple. The biggest changes in your life often start not with huge actions, but with a simple new thought held long enough to turn into a vibe. Believe deeply enough to change how you move through the world. You don't need to fix everything in one go. Just focus on mastering the next thought, because that thought will ripple through your day, your week, your year, and shape the reality around you. So take a moment and listen. What ripple are you sending out right now? Is it one of fear or trust, one of doubt or embodiment? Your thoughts aren't just random chatter. They're like creative commands. They're the first domino, and once that ripple starts, everything else follows. Choose wisely. Think consciously. Your whole reality begins with just one thought. There's a quiet force shaping your reality every day. It's not chance, it's your attention. Where you focus, energy flows, and outcomes follow. That's the attention algorithm, the way life organizes itself. It's all about where you put your focus. You're not just waiting for results, you're actually creating them. Your attention is not just passive, it's powerful, almost like a command. A lot of people don't realize they're shaping their future with what they notice. They think they're just seeing what's there, but they're actively involved in creating it. When you pay attention to something, especially with strong feelings, you make it stronger. You give it meaning, energy, and importance. The more you think about something, the more it sticks in your life. Your mind starts to look for it, your emotions get ready for it, and your actions follow suit. What started as a quick thought can turn into a recurring theme. If you're always on the lookout for problems, guess what? Life will keep showing you those. Not because the world is negative, but because you've signaled to your brain, this is what matters. And your brain listens, bringing you more of the same, more evidence to support your view. Then you think, see, I was right. But that's not proof, it's just feedback. On the flip side, when you choose to focus on the good, the unfolding, the beauty around you, everything changes. Your mind starts searching for that positivity. Your awareness grows, your vibe lifts, and you break free from just seeing problems. You tune into the solutions instead. It doesn't mean you ignore the tough stuff, it means you stop giving it so much attention. Your attention is like fuel. It can either grow something or feed fear. It can help you gain momentum or slow you down. Every day, you're deciding where to put that fuel. The real question is, are you choosing intentionally or just slipping back into old habits? The attention algorithm will always work for you, but it relies on what you feed it. The trick isn't to push away thoughts you don't want. It's to guide your focus with purpose. When you catch yourself spiraling into worry or fear, gently shift your focus back to something that feels solid and uplifting. Not as an escape, but to realign yourself. You're training your inner system to spotlight what you want more of. You don't have to overhaul your whole life all at once. Just pick a new focus. One thought, one feeling, or one better question. That's where it starts. A new algorithm kicks in and attracts different people, ideas, and chances because you finally communicated to your system, this is what I care about now. Life is always tuned in, but not to your words. It's tuned into where you place your attention. And that attention, it's writing the code of your life. So write with intention and focus. What you keep your eyes on shapes not just how you feel, but it tells your story. From that story, your future begins to unfold. At some point, things start to get messy, not because of outside chaos, but because inside, too many old patterns are firing off at once. You're hit with fear from the past, anxiety about the future, and protective habits you don't really need anymore, all playing in a loop that creates noise. This is what we call pattern overload. When your internal energy is jam-packed with outdated reactions, clarity slips away. Your intuition gets buried. You find it hard to welcome anything new as the weight of the old holds you down. You feel overwhelmed. It's like being in a fog or spinning your wheels without making progress. You think you're stuck, but really, your system is overloaded with old code that doesn't fit the life you want to create. Thoughts like, I have to do more, or I can't mess this up, or change is risky, swirl around, guiding your actions without you even realizing it. The outcome? Confusion, fatigue, and resistance. Not from the world outside, but from within. This isn't a cue to push harder. It's a cue to hit pause and check in on the code running behind the scenes. Your being is smart. When it's overwhelmed, it doesn't need more stuff to juggle. It needs to clear some space. Take a moment to look at what you're carrying and ask, does this still help me become who I want to be? Pattern overload pops up when you try to grow, but forget to let go. You pile on new affirmations without clearing away the old fears. You chase new habits while holding on to beliefs that trip you up. Your system can't mesh with what doesn't align with its core. So even if you're learning and expanding, you're doing it from a messy base, and that mess waters down your signal. The answer isn't about adding more complexity. It's about keeping it simple. Find stillness, create space between your thoughts, and allow yourself to watch instead of react. Sometimes, the biggest upgrade comes not from adding something new, but from letting go of something old that doesn't match anymore. The belief that success has to be hard, the habit that says you must always be busy, or the voice that tells you you're not ready. When you simplify the chaos, clarity starts to come back. Your nervous system calms down, and in that peace, your true guidance begins to emerge. You start to sense what feels right, not from fear or old conditioning, but from a deep inner knowing. You begin to take a gentler, more refined path. Instead of scattering your energy everywhere with outdated beliefs, you focus on the truth of right now. You aren't meant to hold on to every version of yourself forever. Some patterns were made just to survive, not to grow. Now that you're growing, it's time to make space. You can't fully step into your next level if the old version of you is still running in the background. Close those tabs, let go of the noise. Trust that the person you're becoming needs less clutter, not more control. In the quiet after the overload, your clearest insights are waiting for you. Limitations often don't shout at you. They linger quietly in your choices, posing as practicality or humility. They whisper things like, "That's just not realistic," or "maybe later," or even "I'm not ready yet." These aren't truths. They're like codes, subtle programs working behind the scenes in your belief system. Until you decode them, they'll keep shaping your reality in predictable, hidden ways. Most people think their limits come from outside: time, money, resources, circumstances. But if you look closely, those aren't usually the real barriers. The true limit lies in the belief that you can't rise above them, that you can't stretch beyond what you know or be more than what others expect of you. This belief operates without you even realizing it, guiding your choices and tightening your boundaries whenever you attempt to expand. To decode limitation, you first need to be still, not to force change, but to observe. Notice where you pull back. Feel the moment you shrink back when you could take a step forward. Pay attention to that tightening in your body when an exciting idea suddenly feels scary. That's the threshold, the spot where the code is hiding. You don't have to fight it, just translate it. Ask yourself, what story is this feeling telling me? What belief is coming up here? Limitation is never random. It always comes with a story. Sometimes it says, "If I try and fail, I'll lose everything." Other times it whispers, "Who do you think you are to want that?" Occasionally, it echoes a parent's or a teacher's voice. Listen up, there's an old experience that left a mark. But remember, it doesn't define you. It's just a story you picked up, maybe in a tough moment. Now, as the builder of your own life, it's your call whether that story goes on or stops here. The beauty of figuring out what's holding you back is that once you see it for what it is, it starts to lose its grip. That wall in front of you, it's not solid. It's built from thoughts. So you start leaning into those uncomfortable feelings, not as threats, but as insights. Every limitation you face carries a hidden map leading to your freedom. If you trace it back to where it began, you take back your power to choose differently. This isn't about pushing fear aside, it's about understanding it. Acknowledge it for what it used to protect you from, and then choose to grow anyway. You don't need to bulldoze through every obstacle. Just shine a light on the ones that run without you even noticing. Once you bring awareness to them, they start to loosen up. Limitations aren't fixed. They can move. Once you learn to decode them, you'll see they were never the problem. They were calling you to rise, to rewrite your story. The real you isn't trapped by beliefs. It's just hiding underneath them. Change starts with awareness. Then you decide to embrace something new. Every thought, every feeling, every usual reaction is part of the pattern of your life. If you feel stuck in a loop, it's not because you're failing, it's because the same old pattern is still running. The good part? Patterns can change. They're flexible and shift quickly when you bring in awareness. That's where the real work of changing them starts. You're not here to fight against these old patterns. You're meant to see them for what they are and make other choices. Repatterning isn't about pushing against what's wrong. It's about gently shifting your energy toward what feels right. It's like carving a new path through a dense forest. Each new thought, upgraded belief, and expanded feeling creates a clearer trail. Over time, the old path, the one shaped by fear and doubt, starts to fade, not through force, but by simply not giving it much attention. The first step, just observe. Notice how you react when things don't go your way. Pay attention to how easily you slip back into feelings of lack or self-doubt, back to those old patterns. This idea that this always happens to me is your active code. It may not seem like a big deal, but it's powerful. It's familiar, and that familiarity leads to repetition. You can't change what you're not ready to face. So observe without judgment. Just gather your observations. Become aware of your own patterns. Then you get to make a choice. Not huge, sweeping changes, but small, deliberate shifts. Instead of reacting in frustration, take a moment to pause. Instead of getting caught in fear, take a deep breath. Instead of sticking to the old story, tell yourself a new truth. I am not that anymore. This time I'll respond differently. I know what I used to believe, but I'm choosing differently now. These choices might seem tiny, but they're significant. Each one sends a signal to the universe about your new direction. Repatterning is less about speed and more about consistency. Your nervous system needs to feel that this new path is safe. Your mind needs to trust you won't give up halfway through. The universe has to catch your steady signal. The more you practice the new response, even when the old habits try to pull you back, the deeper the new patterns will grow. Eventually, what once felt hard will become your normal way of living. This is real transformation, not something that happens overnight with big declarations. It comes through steady, conscious practice, choice by choice. You're not trying to become someone new. You're returning to who you truly are without the conditioning. You're letting go of the cycles that held you back and embracing what reflects your best self. Repatterning is a lifestyle of being present. The more present you are, the more your patterns show the truth of who you really are, not the past you lived, but the future you're ready to embrace. You've been taught to see life as a straight line, one event after the other. Birth, learning, work, love, success, aging, death. It's a checklist you're supposed to follow. But that's a narrow view. The universe doesn't work in straight lines. It operates in fields, layers, and all at once. Sequence is just a mental idea, not a cosmic rule. The more you cling to it, the longer you delay what's already possible for you now. This illusion of sequence makes you believe certain things must happen before others. It convinces you have to struggle before you can succeed, or that you must wait years for anything to change. What if becoming worthy of abundance and healing doesn't take decades? What if all that clarity you're searching for isn't hanging on time but on alignment? Maybe time isn't the problem. It could just be the excuse. When you cling to a strict order, you push your power into the future. You tell yourself, I'll feel complete when this happens, or I'll be ready after that. And with that mindset, you keep pushing away your best self, not because it's out of reach, but because your mind insists, not yet. The truth is, all possibilities exist now. The version of you that's healed, expanded, and empowered, that version is already here. It's not far away. It's in a different frequency. You don't get there by doing more. You connect to it by tuning in, matching the vibe of what you want. Time isn't the divider. Your identity is. The moment you change how you see yourself, you dissolve that illusion of order. You've experienced this. The moment when a realization suddenly makes everything click. When one choice reshapes everything. When clarity rushes in, not from a long journey, but because you were finally ready to see what's always been there. That's not magic. That's alignment breaking through time. Sure, the illusion of sequence feels comforting. It gives the mind something to hold on to, some order to follow. But your soul doesn't grow step by step. It grows through shifts. You're not meant to climb a ladder. You're here to remember that you're already at the peak of your potential. What stops you from living it is the belief that you have to walk 1,000 miles to get there. Challenge the sequence. Question that "I must" mindset. Try on the idea that you can feel whole, free, and powerful now, not later. The instant you let go of believing in delayed fulfillment, you start to access a life that's been waiting for you outside the norm. Not because you've earned it, but because you realize it's always been yours. Sequence isn't the rule, presence is. Everything you've been waiting for kicks off the moment you stop waiting. There's already a part of you that's lived the life you long for. It isn't in some distant future. It exists in a parallel consciousness, fully formed, fully real. This isn't just imagination, it's a memory ready to be activated. The future memory is the energetic blueprint of who you're becoming, and once you connect with it, you start to pull that version of you into your reality. Most people believe that memory only goes backward, tied to the past and what we've already experienced. But memory isn't restricted by time. Just like you can recall pain that's in the past, you can also remember the joy and fulfillment that hasn't happened yet. You can tap into the feelings and visions of a version of yourself that's already living the life you desire. The more you connect with that version, the more your path shifts to match it. This isn't about pretending, it's about remembering forward. It's accessing the sense of what already exists within a timeline your soul has touched. When you close your eyes and feel the peace of having arrived, when you embody the confidence of someone who no longer doubts, you're activating your memory. That memory shapes your choices, energy, and vibe. The change happens when you stop chasing the future as something to obtain and start seeing it as something to remember. You already know how to thrive, to be truly loved, to align fully with your purpose. You might not see it in the mirror yet, but you've felt it in your dreams and desires, in those moments that felt like home. Those glimpses weren't fantasies, they were sparks of future memory. Activating that memory begins with being present. You can't connect with your future self when you're worried. You need to quiet the noise and tune into the version of you that's already there. Ask yourself, what does that self know that I've forgotten? What would they say to me right now? How would they act in this moment? This isn't about writing out steps. It's about shifting how you feel. You become the memory, you embody it, and as you do, your outer world starts to align. When you operate from that future memory, you stop reacting to what is and begin responding to what already exists. Reality has no choice but to mirror the signal you project. Your future isn't ahead of you, it's within you, waiting to be remembered. The life you want isn't something you have to build from the ground up. It's something that's waiting to resurface. Activate that memory, feel it now, and reality will rearrange to match what your soul knows is true. There comes a moment, sometimes subtle, sometimes obvious, when reality shifts. As you start to choose, you can feel it, a pull, a pressure. You have a decision to make. One path keeps you on what's comfortable and known. The other leads into the unknown, into something fresh and uncertain. This is the moment of split timelines, not just a dream or metaphor, but a real shift in the direction of your life. Every choice, every belief, every mindset creates a new path. Once you notice this, you see the power you have. Timelines aren't set in stone, they're fluid. You're not stuck with just one future. At every moment, there are endless possibilities, each one shaped by who you are right now. This split isn't made with huge dramatic changes. It unfolds through smaller, subtle decisions. What you agree to, what you choose to let go of, and what you believe is possible. These little choices matter. They're like doorways, each leading to a different reality. Most people drift through life, caught in the same thoughts and feelings, stuck on one timeline. It feels secure because it's familiar, but just because it's familiar doesn't mean it's where you belong. When you start to question that familiar version of yourself, when you expand beyond your old story, you open the split. You become aware that another, more powerful version of you exists at a different frequency. And this is where the choice lies. Not in the distant future, but in this moment. Will you cling to what you know, or will you embrace the energy of a new timeline, even without solid proof? That split requires faith. It asks you to embody the version of you who already lives that reality, not the one still waiting for it to show up. You don't need to map out every detail ahead. Just commit to the version of yourself that feels most authentic. The more you live as that person, the more your new timeline gains traction. Opportunities change, relationships shift, and your outer world starts to mirror the inner choice you've made. Yes, there will be struggles. The old timeline will try to pull you back with familiar doubts and habits, but remember, that's just resistance, not your fate. The real strength comes from staying aligned long enough for the new path to strengthen. Trust that the unknown isn't empty. It's a bridge to something greater. The split in your timeline isn't a one-time event. It happens every day, even every hour. It's in each moment you choose growth over fear, clarity over confusion, and action over delay. When you make these choices, you split and elevate yourself. The future you once dreamed of stops being just a dream. It becomes your new reality. You tapped into the part of you that was already living it. You're not just moving through time, you're shifting across different realities. With every thought, every feeling, and every choice, you're stepping into a new version of the world. Many people think they're stuck on a single path, but the truth is far more dynamic. There are countless parallel realities, each offering different versions of you, each on its own timeline shaped by the choices you make, the beliefs you hold, and how you feel. And guess what? You can jump between them, not over years or decades, but in mere moments. Shifting realities isn't about escaping your current life. It's about tuning into a different frequency, one where outcomes, people, and experiences that match your higher self are already waiting for you. These realities aren't far away. They're layered right over your current one, accessible by resonating at the right vibe. The secret isn't doing more. It's about being different. You may have felt this shift before, even without realizing it. Those times when life felt lighter, when you met someone and everything changed, or when an opportunity popped up out of nowhere, those were reality jumps. You shifted on the inside, and your outer world changed to match that. The conversation you nearly didn't have led you to a new path. Trusting your instincts rerouted you completely. To jump timelines on purpose, start with clarity, not about how it will all unfold, but about who you want to be. Every version of you sends out a signal. The version that doubts and hesitates taps into one reality, while the one that moves with confidence resonates with another. Your mission is to align with the frequency of the life you want, not just wishing for it, but living it. Become the thoughts, feelings, and actions of the person who already has what you desire. This isn't about make-believe, it's about reprogramming. You're training yourself to stabilize in a new reality by energetically aligning with it. Once you start, the shift will begin, subtle at first. You'll notice a change in your mood, and your intuition will become clearer. When resistance fades, you start to notice new signs around you, like synchronicities and invitations. There's a shift in momentum. It doesn't mean you've fully jumped yet, but you're stepping into a new layer. The only thing holding you back from your old reality is your attachment to it, your need for proof, your habit of fear. But those are just familiar frequencies, not ones you have to stick with. The moment you stop feeding those fears, they dissolve. Then the reality that matches your higher self becomes the one you navigate through. You don't need to fight for this new reality. Instead, you need to be the version of you that already exists in that space. Let that version guide your choices. Let that energy lead your day. The jump doesn't happen down the line. It happens right when you stop waiting and start aligning. The door to the parallel reality you seek isn't far away. It's right next to you, ready for you to step through. You've been told that transformation takes struggle, that you must grind and wrestle your way from the old to the new. That's not how energy works, though. Real shifts don't come from struggle, they come from alignment. Once you let go of the belief that pain equals progress, you unlock a softer, deeper way of changing. Struggle isn't the same as effort. Effort can be focused and powerful, while struggle is effort mixed with resistance. It's like trying to move forward while dragging along doubt, fear, and old identities. You say you want something new, but part of you clings to the old, trying to keep it safe. This inner conflict creates friction, leading to exhaustion. What was once a smooth shift suddenly feels stuck. But what if you could change without suffering? What if you allowed transformation to flow naturally, like nature does? A tree doesn't fight to grow its leaves. A river doesn't struggle to carve its path. It just flows, following the path of least resistance. Not because it's lazy, but because it knows better. Your energy can do the same if you let it. Shifting without struggle starts with surrender. Not giving up, but letting go of the fight. Release the tension that tells you it has to be hard, that you're not doing enough, or that change isn't real unless it hurts. These are just beliefs, not truths. As long as you hold on to them, you'll stay stuck. You make every change tougher than it needs to be. The real work happens inside. It's about aligning your thoughts, feelings, and who you are with what you want. It's not about becoming someone new. It's about easing into the version of you that already exists in that future. When your energy flows, life starts to shift easily. Opportunities pop up, solutions come to light. Change doesn't need to be a struggle. It happens through harmony. Think back to those moments when you made a choice and everything just fell into place. That clarity didn't come from pushing, it came from being present. When you stop forcing things, they start to unfold naturally. That wasn't just luck, that was being in tune without the struggle. So ask yourself, where am I trying to push for a change that just needs to flow? What belief am I holding on to that says this has to be hard? What if I let go of that belief right now? Ease isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign of mastery. It's trusting that the same intelligence that keeps you breathing, that moves the planets, also knows how to lead you through your transformation. Struggling isn't a badge of honor. It often shows you've lost touch with who you really are. Let go. Make it simpler. Allow the change to happen without fighting it. You weren't meant to battle your way into alignment. You were meant to remember it and let it come back to you. There's a quiet revolution inside when you realize that past voices don't hold power anymore. Not because they were evil, but because they were limited. Not because they intended harm, but simply didn't know better. Letting go of past authority isn't about blaming anyone. It's about setting yourself free. It's when you stop letting outdated scripts from parents, teachers, or culture dictate your choices. It's when you decide to live your own truth instead of someone else's fears. For much of your life, you've carried beliefs that weren't really yours. You inherited them, absorbed them, and adapted to them. You figured out what was acceptable and what was dangerous through someone else's eyes, and often you never questioned it. Those beliefs came from people you trusted, people you needed, so you made their truth yours. You wore it like a second skin. But then, eventually, you start to feel that friction. You sense that something's off, even if you can't put your finger on it. It's like a quiet rebellion inside you whispering, "What if they were wrong?" The journey starts with a question. It's not about destroying your past. It's about letting go of the parts that hold you back. You don't need to fight your roots. Just trim what's no longer growing. This awareness is where change begins. You start noticing how fear, not even yours, shapes your actions. You find yourself hesitating, not due to lack of readiness, but because someone once said not to take risks. You quiet your shine because others made you feel it wasn't safe. But then something shifts. You recognize the pattern and realize you don't have to stick to it anymore. This is where your power comes back, not through rebellion, but through understanding. You come to see that the only authority that matters is the one within you. It's the voice that knows what feels right without needing anyone's go-ahead. The truth isn't found in outdated rules. It's a deep, instinctual feeling. Now, decisions aren't made to impress anybody. They resonate with who you're becoming. The world around you starts to change, not all at once, but steadily. You stop responding to past fears. New opportunities emerge as you let go of explanations meant for the ghosts of your past. Your voice grows stronger when you stop waiting for someone's nod of approval. You begin to move freely, not because the past has changed, but because its hold on you has weakened. Dismantling old authority isn't just a one-time thing. It unfolds in layers. Each time you question your automatic reactions, each moment you pause before repeating those old narratives, and every choice you make to be present rather than programmed, you reclaim your power. By doing so, you redefine the authority in your life. You're no longer just learning how to survive from others. You're building your own growth. You've been told the past is set in stone, that what happened can't be altered. But what if that's only partly true? Sure, the events are in the past, but the meanings you've attached to them are still very much alive. Those meanings shape who you are, what you expect, and your reality today. Memory isn't a fixed record. It's a living narrative that changes every time you revisit it. When you grasp this, you realize something significant. You don't have to change what happened to change your life. You just need to change how you relate to it. Each time you recall a memory, you bring it into the now and reshape it. Your emotions, beliefs, and awareness all tint that memory when it comes alive again. This isn't just daydreaming, it's a powerful transformation. Neuroscience shows that our brains don't just pull up memories like files. Instead, they rebuild them. And guess what? This rebuilding is shaped by who we are today. That means every memory can change. Within that change lies freedom. You can revisit a painful memory and look at it through compassion, not shame. You can see an old wound as a turning point, not just a failure. You don't have to carry the version that hurts you anymore. Instead, you can hold on to the one that heals you. This isn't denying what happened, it's taking charge. You're not erasing the past, you're changing what it means. By doing this, you alter the power it holds over you. Think about how many of your current limits come from the past. A moment where you were told you weren't good enough, a time you failed and let that define you. Maybe you felt dismissed or betrayed, and you decided that shaped your worth. But what if that meaning was never really true? What if it was just how you interpreted things back then? Now, with all the wisdom you've gained, you can go back and change the narrative. You can bring love to those parts of you that felt alone. You can show understanding to the parts that carried shame. You can give your younger self the validation it missed out on. That change doesn't just affect your feelings, it alters what you draw into your life. When you shift how you feel about the past, you change your vibe in the present. This is all about freeing yourself. It's not about waiting for the world to fix things, but taking control and redefining what it meant. Memory can become a tool, not a chain. As you reshape those memories, you reclaim pieces of yourself that got stuck back then. They start to thaw, integrate, and rise. Your past isn't a prison, it's raw material. Mold it consciously. Shape it with love. The moment you see memories as changeable is the moment you stop being defined by what happened and start feeling empowered by what you decide to make of it. Quantum leaping isn't just for mystics or theorists. You do it every day, whether you know it or not. Each time you shift your identity, embody a new vibe, or make choices from your higher self instead of your old patterns, you make a leap forward. Change isn't just about moving through time or space. It's about shifting dimensions of who you are. The idea that change has to be slow and hard, that's a myth. Real change happens in a split second through our awareness, not through struggle. You don't make big leaps by forcing the world to comply with your wishes. You leap by aligning your inner self with the version of you that's already living the life you want. That version isn't just a fantasy, it exists in the quantum field. The only barrier is the identity you're currently holding on to. The moment you change your mindset, your body language, your words, and your energy, you enter a new reality. Many believe they need evidence before they can embrace a new path, but that's backward thinking. Belief is a gateway, not an outcome. When you act as if you've already made the leap, you begin to close the gap. You stop rehearsing the old story and start embracing the new. That's when things speed up because reality responds to your vibration, not to your wishes. Quantum leaping is about intentionally choosing your frequency. It doesn't need to be dramatic. You don't have to quit your job or announce big changes on social media. A leap can simply be saying no to something you used to tolerate. It can be waking up and deciding to carry yourself as if you're already free. It can even be recognizing an old fear and choosing not to give it power. These small moments are where your path shifts. They might be unseen by others, but they change everything. Quantum leaping in daily life is about remembering your true self and making choices from that perspective. It's about the part of you that's uninhibited, joyful, and aligned, not the one shaped by fear or past experiences. It means letting go of the need for logical steps and trusting in the power of now. A single choice made from an elevated state can collapse time and open up new possibilities. You aren't here to evolve slowly. If your spirit is ready to leap, the quantum field isn't concerned with how long you've struggled. It cares about who you are right now. So, be bold, be clear, stand firm in who you are, because when you align with the version of you that's already there, it's not about waiting for the leap. It's about becoming it, instantly, purposely, and repeatedly. Your new normal is the life you once dreamed about. Your future isn't out there somewhere. It's already inside you, just waiting to be tapped into. That version of you, filled with clarity, confidence, freedom, and fulfillment, it's not just a dream, it's a real energy, a frequency. When you start connecting with that future self, you don't just picture a better life, you start bringing it into your current reality. This is future self-encoding, actively tuning into the energy of who you're becoming and letting it change how you think, feel, and act. Many people see the future as something that's far away, hoping it turns out well. But waiting keeps you stuck. Hope keeps you feeling small. The future you want isn't just a matter of time passing. It comes when you start living as if you're already that version of you. This isn't about forcing it, it's about aligning yourself. Future self-encoding starts with getting clear. Who's the version of you that already lives the life you're wanting? How do they think, speak, walk, and choose? What do they allow? What have they let go of? You don't need to have every detail worked out. Just feel their essence. Once you get that feeling, you begin bridging the gap, not by pretending, but by truly embodying it. When you act as if you're already that future self, your present starts to change. You'll make choices from a place of power, not fear. You stop seeking validation because you become the source of it. You move with the confidence of someone who no longer doubts. That energy shift sends out a new signal, and the world responds. You're no longer a seeker, you're a match. This encoding happens through practice, by continually choosing to align your thoughts and feelings with the future you want. Don't wait to feel ready or look for signs from outside. Make now the moment where your future begins. Every time you step into that version of yourself, even for a minute, you strengthen that signal. As the signal grows stronger, so does your momentum. You're not becoming someone new, you're unlocking what's already inside you. You're activating a code that's been resting beneath old survival habits and beliefs, and as it comes to life, everything shifts. Your outside world starts to reflect your inner changes through chances, talks, and unexpected timing. This isn't just some coincidence, it's coherence. Future self-encoding isn't merely a way of thinking, it's a choice. A choice to live like the version of you that already knows how it all turns out, in growth, in truth, and in alignment. When you shift to living from that encoded future rather than your old memories, reality has no choice but to elevate to match who you've chosen to be. The present moment isn't just where you find yourself, it's the only place true change can happen. You've been led to chase after the future, heal old wounds, and wait for the perfect moment. But here's the truth. Everything you want, every possibility, every version of you is available right now. The now is your gateway, the portal for all realities to unfold. It doesn't require effort, it opens with your presence. Most people aren't fully here. Their minds drift around past events or fret about the future. They carry yesterday's fears and tomorrow's worries like heavy bags, not realizing that this moment holds the power they seek. The now isn't passive, it's electric. It's where your intention meets availability, and your vibe meets form. The more you settle into the present, the more aligned you become with the intelligence behind everything. You've felt this before. Those moments when time fades, clarity floods in, and everything feels sharper, more alive. That wasn't just luck. That was you embracing presence. In that state, your intuition becomes clearer, resistance fades, and reality becomes flexible. You're no longer tugging at your energy in all directions. You're centered, and from that center, your power shines. The now isn't a waiting room. It's a workshop. It's where you pick new thoughts, spark new emotions, and step into new identities. When you're fully in the present, the past loses its hold, and the future starts to shift. You're no longer replaying old patterns. You're creating a new frequency. The infinite quantum field can only respond to what's real right now, not to what you wish would happen later. This is why change often feels stuck, not because the way forward is unclear, but because your energy is scattered across time. You're holding on to hurts and worrying about what's next, all while missing out on what's right here. But when you come back to the now, even just for a few breaths, everything starts to change. Your path starts to glow and you can feel your power rising again, not as something in the future, but as a real part of your present. The key is to stop chasing and start being. No more waiting for permission or validation or outside changes. You drop into your body, feel your breath, and connect with the silence beneath your thoughts. From that place, you decide who you want to be, not tomorrow, but right now. That decision holds energy, and that energy shapes your reality. The door is always open. You don't need to search for it. Just remember to return, and you'll see that everything you've been chasing is already here, locked in this moment, waiting for you to fully show up. The present isn't small, it's infinite. Everything shifts when you step into it, not just with your mind, but with your entire being. There's a story you've heard that says what you want will come someday, when the timing is right, or when you've done enough, healed enough, become enough. That story feels comforting at first. It gives you room to grow and a reason to be patient. But underneath, it's a lie, the illusion of delay. It tricks you into believing that what you desire is far away. In reality, it's already here, waiting, not on a clock, but on your alignment. The illusion of delay makes you think reality runs on a schedule, that your desires are lined up, waiting their turn. But the universe doesn't tick by clocks. It moves with energy. What you resonate with now is what you'll receive, not because you've earned it, but because you align with it. Delay isn't about time, it's about your vibration. You might think your desires aren't here yet because you haven't done enough, but it's more likely that you haven't fully become the you who can receive them. It's not about proving yourself, it's about embodying who you truly are. The universe responds right away. Once your inner world shifts, the outer world will start to reflect that change. Maybe not all at once, but the change starts immediately. The lag you sense is often just a moment to adjust, a time for the old to fade and the new to settle in. What really holds you back isn't a lack of action. It's the contradictions in your energy, wanting one thing while doubting it, seeking clarity while indulging in confusion, hoping for love while feeling unworthy. These mixed signals create static, and the universe clearly reflects that noise back to you as inconsistency and delay. But once you clear that static, once your signal is strong, when the illusion clears up, you start to see the truth. The waiting, it wasn't really about the world outside. It was about getting your insides aligned. Once you truly feel deep down that something is yours, without clinging or fear, that's when it comes to you. Sometimes it might show up in ways you didn't expect, but it will come. Not because you've waited long enough, but because you've matched its vibe. That's the secret. Time isn't what holds you back. It's your identity. The part of you that thinks things take forever is stuck in a slow timeline. But the part that trusts in the flow, that's living in a space where everything moves smoothly. Switching between those timelines isn't about years. It's about making a choice. It's about a deep knowing and letting go of old stories. You don't need to earn what's already yours. In the realm of possibilities, all you have to do is remember that waiting is just a trick of the mind, not a rule from the universe. Once you release the waiting, the chasing, the belief that it's not your time yet, a door opens. The gap closes, and that future you've been dreaming of starts to show up, not in some far-off time, but right now. It was never far away. It was all about your vibe. You're not stuck on one path or stuck with one outcome. There are so many versions of reality around you, different lives, different expressions of what you can be, all existing at the same time. This isn't just a story, it's real access to the multiverse. When you truly grasp this, you stop trying to change everything outside and start picking which version of reality you want to step into. The multiverse isn't some distant place. It's right here, layered with frequencies that you connect with your thoughts, feelings, and choices. Every version of you is already out there. There's the one who lives in fear, the one who stands strong, the one who doubts, and the one who's confident. These aren't future versions. They're parallel lives. Your reality reflects which version you're tuned into. To access a new reality, you don't have to struggle. It's about choosing. You don't climb to a new timeline, you tune into it. You shift your vibe to match the version of you who already lives in that reality. As you do this, the people, situations, and experiences around you begin to shift, not because they've changed, but because you've moved into a different layer of reality where they appear differently. People often feel stuck because they don't see the full picture. They think they have to fix what's wrong, wait for a better moment, or just try harder. But when you realize there are many versions of this moment already out there, you stop fixing and start accessing. You start asking, which version of me am I activating right now? And which one do I want to step into instead? The change can be immediate. You don't need to build a bridge. You are the bridge. You create it through your thoughts, body language, voice, and choices, aligning them all with the version of you that already has peace, the version that trusts and has let go. As soon as you embrace that self, even before you see any proof, you've entered a new reality. This multiversal access gives you freedom. It shows you that you're never trapped. No matter how deep the patterns, how long the waits, or how heavy the feelings, you can shift. Not by ignoring your current situation, but by choosing who you want to become next. You're not here to earn your future. You're here to align with it. This isn't about escaping. It's about activating. You choose from the part of you that isn't afraid, not the one that is. You're not asking the universe for something new. You're stepping into the part of the multiverse where that thing already exists. The door was always there. You just needed to become the version of you that could walk through it. You're not just linear. You're multidimensional. The more you practice shifting your state intentionally, the easier it becomes to tap into the timelines where you already feel whole, seen, and free. Dreams aren't just random stories your mind spins at night. They're portals, windows into other timelines and aspects of yourself that go beyond your waking awareness. While your body rests, your mind becomes fluid, moving past the bounds of time and space. Dreaming lets you touch places where the rules are different, and reality reacts instantly to your thoughts. What happens in your dreams may seem symbolic or odd, but every dream carries a message, a memory, or a reflection of yourself. It's never random. In dreams, you meet past selves, future selves, and parallel selves all at once. That's because dreams collapse time, drawing from deeper layers of consciousness and presenting them to you as metaphor, emotion, and vision. Most people brush their dreams off as nonsense or entertainment, but there's so much more to uncover. When you start to tune in, you notice these messages are spot on. They reveal what's hidden deep down, what you've been dodging, what you're ready to let go of, and sometimes what's already happening in another version of your life. You've had dreams that felt more real than actual life, moments that stick with you long after you wake up. Those feelings don't just disappear. They're more than dreams, they're experiences. It's like traveling through your own mind. You're not just imagining, you're visiting, getting a glimpse, remembering a timeline you once lived. That's why some dreams seem prophetic. In that dream space, you step outside the time delay of waking life. You see things before they happen. You work through conflicts before they arise. You gain insights your conscious mind misses. These aren't random thoughts. They're messages from a part of you that exists outside linear time. To use dreams as time portals, you have to set an intention. Before you drift off, ask to see what you're ready to know. Ask to connect with the version of you that's already aligned. Ask to let go of what doesn't help you anymore. You're not pleading with the dream. You're activating a deeper part of your consciousness that's always listening. Keep a journal. Write down those dream fragments, even if they seem odd. Over time, you'll spot patterns and see symbols repeat. You'll start to get your own dream language. The more you respect this process, the more access you have. The dream world won't be a mystery. It'll be a tool, a map, a place for healing, a reflection. You're not just dreaming, you're traveling. Every night, your soul moves through these portals, recalibrating, remembering, and aligning. Each morning, you bring back insights. The choice is yours. Will you ignore them or pay attention? Dreams don't just show what's ahead, they reveal who you really are. When you grasp that, sleep shifts from being an escape to what it's truly meant to be, a doorway to possibilities. There's power in surrender, in knowing that even if things don't happen on your timetable, they're unfolding just right. This is what we call temporal trust, the ability to see time not as a ticking clock, but as a wise force. Trust that what you're asking for is on its way. When evidence is slow to show up, many people panic. They think a delay means rejection. They start questioning everything, thinking something's gone wrong. But here's the thing, timing is rarely the issue. It's the doubt about timing that creates confusion. You want your goals to manifest, but deep down you worry they won't. That fear sends mixed signals into the universe, causing delays in what you're trying to attract. Trusting the timing means actively aligning with your vision. It's about holding on to what you want while letting go of when you want it. You need to say, I trust the process, even if I can't see the path right now. This energy opens doors. It creates space for miracles. It gives the universe room to rearrange and lets you grow into the person ready to embrace your desires. Think about the times you felt you missed out, but then things fell into place at just the right moment. That job that seemed like a failure led you to something better. That relationship that didn't pan out made way for one that truly resonated with you. These weren't just random events. They were about trusting timing beyond your control. This kind of trust transforms you. It eases the urgency and calms the anxiety. You stop needing everything to happen immediately and start focusing on becoming the version of yourself that's ready right now. That person doesn't chase after things. They align with them. They act as if it's already done, because in the energy field, it is. All you need is to build the bridge of timing with faith. Trusting the timing isn't about just waiting around. It's engaging actively with the energy of what's inevitable. You do what you can without trying to force what's not yet ready. It's about creating from a place of calm instead of chaos, holding on to certainty amidst uncertainty. You're not behind, you're not late, you aren't overlooked. You are perfectly on schedule for the reality that matches your readiness. So take a breath. Let time support you instead of working against you. Don't rush. Trust that the delay you fear often leads to something even better than you originally planned. Time isn't your foe, it's your ally in the creation process. Imagine time as a string of beads, stretching from past to present to future. But what if that string isn't straight? What if time could twist, stretch, or even react to your thoughts? The truth is, time is a lot more pliable than we've been taught. It's not just something you pass through, it responds to you. Once you learn to engage with it mindfully, you can start to take back your power. This is what the time rewiring ritual is all about. It's not about speeding up the clock. It's about syncing your awareness with the version of time that helps you grow. You don't feel time the same way every day. Some days stretch on forever, while others zoom by in an instant. Sometimes you feel behind the curve, while other times everything flows just right, as if guided by a force beyond you. That's not just chance. That's connection. Time speeds up or slows down based on how you feel. When you're in a good groove, time expands. When you're fighting against something, it feels tighter. And when you're fully present, time doesn't even matter because every possibility exists right now. To start the time rewiring ritual, you need to be present. You can't stretch time if you're not in the moment. So sit still, breathe, and let go of what has been and what might come. Drop into the now until the noise quiets down and you feel grounded, not in your thoughts, but in your essence. From this place, you don't talk to the clock. You communicate with your timeline. Set an intention to shorten time, to call in alignment, and to connect with the version of you that already lives the life you want. Visualize it. See yourself living that reality. Feel the rhythm of that timeline, how it moves and flows, and let your body tune into it. You're not just imagining, you're merging. That future isn't far away, it's just next door, and your energy is the lock. Now let go of the need to plan. Your mind wants to map out steps, but this timeline doesn't need that. It needs your permission. The more you trust, the faster things will align. If you believe the change will take ages, it will. But if you believe it can happen now, everything shifts. As you go about your day, carry that version of yourself with you. Make choices like they would. Speak and act like they would. This isn't pretending, it's reprogramming. With every aligned moment, old-time patterns fade and new paths emerge. You're not just moving toward the life you want, you're pulling it toward you through your energy. Repeat this ritual often, not out of need, but out of commitment. You're not asking for more time, you're reshaping it. Change is about reminding yourself of who you are. When you stop resisting time and start dancing with it, everything speeds up. What once felt distant becomes close. What seemed delayed becomes immediate. It's not the clock that changes, it's your mindset. That's the key to creating without limits. You've heard that having a strategy is everything, that if you find the perfect plan or system, it'll all fall into place. But here's the truth. Strategy doesn't mean much if your mindset doesn't match what you want. State over strategy is the shift from logic to energy, from mere effort to true embodiment. It's about understanding that who you are while taking action is far more important than what action you take. You can have the best steps laid out, the most optimized plans, the best advice, but if you're coming from a place of fear or doubt, your results will show it. The energy behind your actions shapes the outcomes. Every single strategy gets filtered through your vibe. If your inner world is out of whack, the outside world will reflect that. That's why some people seem to do less and achieve more. It isn't luck, it's because their energy is aligned. They aren't working from a place of lack, they move from trust. They aren't hustling to earn something, they're syncing with what they already believe belongs to them. Their actions come from a place of already being in tune with that frequency, and that's why they succeed. Your state is where it all starts. It's the source of your clarity, creativity, and magnetism. When you're open, grounded, and feel worthy, you don't need to chase after strategies. The right actions reveal themselves naturally, and timing unfolds effortlessly. The pressure to have it all figured out vanishes, letting your intuition take charge. This doesn't mean that strategy is pointless. It just has to come after your state. It should support your mindset, not replace it. The mistake is thinking a perfect formula can fix a misaligned energy. It won't work. You'll keep hitting walls and feeling burned out, not because the path is wrong, but because the energy behind it is fractured. So before you even sketch out a plan, check in with yourself. Ask, who am I being as I take this step? Am I working from belief or fear? Am I coming from trust or trying to fill a void? These questions matter more than the task itself. Your state of mind isn't just a byproduct of success, it's the backbone of it. When you change your state first, everything shifts. You walk differently, you talk differently. People notice something unique about you. Suddenly, opportunities that once seemed out of reach start coming your way. Not because you discovered a new tactic, but because you become a better fit for them. Life isn't a puzzle to figure out, it's a frequency to tune into. When you focus on how you feel, strategies turn into tools, not crutches. You stop hunting for the perfect plan and begin to transform into the kind of person who makes any plan work. That's real power, that's alignment, and that's how results happen, not just through hard work, but through energy first. Every moment you're making choices, many of them without even realizing it. What to believe, how to react, who to be. You go about your day thinking life just happens, not realizing that every thought, feeling, and reaction is a choice. The truth is, reality isn't offering you just one path. It's serving up options, and your awareness is the one deciding. This is what conscious selection is all about, intentionally choosing your experiences before they unfold. You're not controlling the world, you're guiding your energy. Most folks react to what comes their way, treating it like the only choice. But what shows up is already shaped by your past choices, thoughts, and feelings. The mistake? Believing what's in front of you is set in stone. In reality, it's a reflection of who you were being. If you want to change what life throws at you, you have to change your selections. Conscious selection means recognizing your power in the small moments. Before you enter a room, you decide the energy you're bringing. Before you speak, you choose the tone of your words. Before you start your day, you pick the version of yourself who will live it. You're not wandering through life, you're shaping it. The more intentional you become, the more life feels like a mirror, not a mystery. This isn't about pretending, it's about being aligned. When you consciously choose how you feel, what you focus on, and what you believe to be true, you're not avoiding reality, you're crafting it. The world doesn't react to wishful thinking, it responds to confident choices. To the vibe of someone who boldly declares, This is who I am, and this is what I experience now. And yes, at first it might feel strange. Old habits will tug at you, and you'll hear the echoes of past patterns. But as soon as you notice this and make a different choice, that's when the change starts. It doesn't need to be a big deal. Just be present and ready to choose differently, even if your surroundings haven't changed yet. Reality doesn't wait, it needs clarity. The clearer you are about your choices, the quicker your life starts shifting. Stop waiting for outside validation. You don't choose something because it's already here. You choose it to bring it into your life. That's the twist. You make the choice first, and then the proof follows. So kick off your day by picking peace. Walk into scenarios choosing trust. Face challenges by opting for empowerment. You aren't just responding to what's happening, you're deciding what happens next. With every mindful choice, you're carving a fresh path, one that isn't rooted in the past, but blooms from your presence. It reflects not who you were, but who you've chosen to become. That's the art, the practice, and the power of living consciously. You're made of vibration, not just solid stuff. Your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs all send out a frequency, acting like a radio signal that attracts experiences matching its tone. Most people don't realize they're stuck on one channel. You can shift frequencies, just like tuning a radio. This is frequency hopping, the ability to move between different emotional states and energies by choice, not luck. Each state comes with its own experiences. Fear brings confusion and delays, while joy opens up flow and clarity. At any moment, you can switch from one to the other, not by changing what's around you, but by changing your own signal. You don't have to wait for something outside to change your energy. You have the power to shift it right now. Frequency hopping starts with awareness. Check where you're tuned in at the moment. What loops are playing in your mind? What emotions are you nurturing? Many people don't realize they're operating from a low vibe until it manifests in their lives as frustration or missed opportunities. If you can catch the signal early, you can shift before things spiral. The hop is a choice, a reset. You can kick it off through breath, music, movement, or stillness. You don't need to have it all figured out. Just raise your frequency. When your energy changes, so does your perspective. And when your perspective shifts, your reality changes too. Sometimes making a big leap feels overwhelming. That's okay. You don't have to jump from fear straight to bliss. Start by moving from despair to neutrality, or from stress to curiosity, or from doubt to believing in possibilities. These are all little hops. Small changes in your frequency can lead to noticeable differences in how you experience life. Remember, your current frequency isn't your identity. It's just the station you're tuned into. If you don't like the music, change the channel. You're not stuck with your mood or the energy you started the day with. You're the tuner, not just the signal. Practice this every day. When something throws you off balance, pause and ask yourself, is this the frequency I want to stay on? If the answer is no, choose differently. Maybe shift with gratitude, or move your body, or simply sit and breathe until you feel calm. These aren't just escapes, they're activations. You're training your body to enjoy a new default vibration. The more you practice shifting frequencies, the more flexible your reality becomes. You won't be dragged down by emotions anymore. You'll be the one designing your state. As you move into higher frequencies more often, you'll stabilize there. Your life starts to reflect this new signal, not because the world changed, but because you changed, one step at a time. You're not becoming a new person. You're remembering who you've always been beneath all the roles, stories, and expectations. Identity isn't set in stone. It's something you choose. Every version of you already exists out there. The confident you, the healed you, the one who trusts and moves through life with clarity and strength. You don't have to create that version, you just need to activate it. This is about identity activation. It's the conscious choice to step into a new frequency of self, not just in theory, but in how you live. Many people are stuck in identities they never chose, identities shaped by past experiences or other people's beliefs. They might say, I'm just not that kind of person, or this is just who I am, as if identity is a permanent state instead of something you can adjust. But it's not fixed. It's programmable. Once you realize this, your transformation starts now. Identity isn't just about what you do. It's the energy you bring to your actions. It's not merely your behavior, it's your foundation. The thoughts that come to you without effort, the emotions that feel automatic, the choices you make on a whim. If those patterns are holding you back, it's because you're working from a place of fear. But guess what? You can change that. You can activate the part of you that makes different choices. Start with your intention. Who do you want to be today, not someday? Picture that version of you. How do they talk? How do they carry themselves? What do they accept and what do they walk away from? This isn't about pretending. It's about remembering that this version of you is already there. You've seen hints of them in your bold moves, your gut instincts, your quiet knowing. They aren't just a future possibility. They're a reality waiting for your go-ahead. Activating this new identity isn't a loud process. It's all about consistency. It's waking up and choosing who you want to be before the proof is in front of you. It's making decisions that go against the old you and align with the new one. It's recognizing fear when it creeps up and saying, "That's not my truth anymore." Then you back it up with action, feelings, and practice. At first, the world might not respond. The mirror might still show your past. But remember, identity leads and reality follows. Don't wait for results to declare your shift. Claim it, and the results will start to align. This is the reprogramming phase where momentum kicks in. You're not stuck with your past self. That identity served you once, kept you safe even, but you've outgrown it. Now's the time to update who you are, not with force, but through choice, awareness, and belief. You don't have to fix the old you, just embrace the new you. When you bring this new identity to life, you start a new timeline, and your reality has to respond. Not because you changed everything, but because you remembered who you truly are. Manifesting taught you that your thoughts can shape reality, that your desires have power, and that intention counts. And while that awakening was vital, there's something even deeper, something more intentional, more refined, more powerful. It's the shift from simply manifesting to sculpting your reality. You're not just asking the universe for what you want, you're crafting your reality from the inside out like a true creator. Manifesting often starts with, "How can I get what I want?" But reality sculpting flips the script. It asks, "Who do I need to be to live in a world where what I desire already exists?" This change is subtle but powerful. It shifts you from waiting and hoping to actively creating and shaping your life. You stop being a passive receiver and start moving like a creator. When you sculpt reality, your tool isn't effort, it's your frequency. You carve your reality through belief, emotion, and presence. You realize that reality isn't a solid thing just sitting there, ready to serve you. Instead, it's a flexible field that responds to the clarity of your vibration. Every thought is like a chisel, every feeling a stroke, and every action is the sculptor's touch, reshaping your life in the moment. This takes more than just wishing. It demands precision. Just like a sculptor doesn't swing wildly at stone, you can't just toss affirmations into thin air. You need to feel the outcome. Visualize it. Become the version of yourself who already lives in that outcome. Dive into the details, not from a place of need, but from a sense of familiarity. That familiarity begins to emerge in your outer world, not by chance, but by design. When you sculpt your reality, you don't question if it's possible. You decide it is. You don't look for signs to believe. You believe, and then the signs appear. You don't wait to feel worthy. You choose to embody worthiness now. You get that changes on the outside are merely echoes of the inner sculpture you're crafting. Sometimes you hit a dense block. Resistance may feel heavy, but that's part of the process. Don't drop what you're creating. Instead, soften your grip. Breathe deeper. Tune in more closely. What you're sculpting isn't just a better life. It's a more authentic version of yourself, one that's been hidden under doubt and delays. Reality sculpting isn't about getting more. It's about becoming more present, aligned, and precise in your energy. The outer results are secondary. The true artistry lies within you. Once you master that inner creation, your life reshapes, not slowly but surely. You're not here just to hope for change. You're here to mold, direct, and sculpt it with such clarity that reality can't help but mirror what your soul knows to be true. Every moment of your life is formed not by what you want. Hope is shaped by what you take for granted. Your assumptions aren't just casual thoughts, they're deep-seated beliefs. They quietly dictate how you see the world, who you think you are, and what you think you deserve. Often you're unaware of them, like a hidden program running in the background, scripting your reality. But when you spot those assumptions, you unlock the ability to change them. This is the assumption override, the conscious act of interrupting those default beliefs that have been shaping your life. You assume more than you think. You assume that people will react in a certain way, that money is hard to get, that healing takes forever, and that good things fade away. These aren't just passing whims, they're energetic commands. The universe responds clearly and directly to them. Your outer world lines up to reflect your deepest assumptions, not to punish you, but to match your energy. That's why change can feel so difficult. People often say they want something different, but their core beliefs stay the same. Someone might say, "I'm abundant," yet still think they'll always struggle. Or they might say, "I'm ready for love," while believing they'll face heartbreak again. That contradiction blocks the flow, scrambling the signal. You can't get a new result while holding on to old assumptions. Here's the truth. An assumption isn't the same as fact. It's a choice you've practiced so much that it feels real. But since you chose it, you can change it. You override it, not through force, but by swapping it out. When you notice yourself acting or thinking based on old ideas, pause, breathe, introduce a new truth. I expect ease now. I trust my path. I assume I'm always supported. At first, the override feels subtle, like flicking a switch in the dark. But over time, the new assumption grows stronger. You start to act, speak, and feel differently. As your inner vibe shifts, your outer world begins to adjust too. Change might need time to fully unfold, but the signal you send out changes right away. This isn't about pretend. It's about remembering and choosing the belief that aligns with your true self, even before there's proof. That's what rewrites your story. That's what shapes reality. The assumption override is a practice, urging you to pay attention to your internal autopilot. Take the wheel with purpose. Every time you do, you take charge of your experience. You stop waiting for proof to believe. Instead, you believe to see. So ask yourself, what do I really think about my life, my worth, my future? Are those thoughts helping me create the reality I want? If they aren't, it's time to change them. Replace them. Ground new truths so firmly that the world has to mirror them back to you. Your thoughts aren't just ideas, they shape everything that happens next. There's a powerful force in shaping reality beyond desire, intention, or action. It's certainty. It's quiet. Not boastful, but it's strong. It doesn't beg, chase, or waver. The certainty principle says that what you believe is true becomes true, not eventually or hopefully, but inevitably. The universe matches what you absolutely know. Most people operate from a place of wanting. They hope, wish, and visualize, but deep down there's doubt. What if it doesn't happen? That doubt creates noise. It clouds the signal and pushes outcomes into the future instead of bringing them into now. But certainty clears that noise. It sends out a strong, clear frequency, attracting experiences that match it. You felt this, times when you just knew everything would work out, and it did. Not because you forced it, but because you were in alignment. Your decision was already made in your body and energy. That inner knowing set the stage, and reality followed. This isn't luck, it's a law, and it can be repeated. Certainty isn't about evidence, it's about embodying what you desire. Don't wait for the world to prove it. Decide first. Feel first. Act as if what you want is already yours. Not to deceive the universe, but because you're aligned with the version of you that has it. That alignment sends out a signal, and life tunes in accordingly. You can tap into this principle anytime. Start by shifting your language from I hope to I know, from I want to I am, and from if to when, eventually reaching now. These aren't just words, they're commands. They carry different energies and summon different realities. Certainty doesn't need all the answers. You don't have to know how, just be. Stay firm in the belief that it's already done. Your journey is unfolding just as it should. Everything you need is either on its way or already here. Energy doesn't chase, it attracts, it stabilizes the space around it. This isn't just blind faith, it's a deep-rooted belief built through practice. Each time you choose confidence over fear, doubt, or delay, you strengthen that signal. The more you do it, the easier it becomes. Soon, certainty isn't something you force, it's just how you live. So ask yourself, what would I do, say, or feel if I truly believed? What choices would I make? How would I hold myself? So go ahead, be that person. Certainty isn't just the end goal, it kickstarts everything. When it's present, the universe acts without delay. It listens, aligns, and delivers. Not because you pushed it, but because you stopped questioning what was always meant for you. Every event in your life has a feeling tied to it. It's not just about what happened, but how you felt when it did. Your emotions are like ink that writes memories into your reality. They leave a mark that attracts similar situations, people, and outcomes. This is emotional coding, an unseen system that shapes your future based on how you felt in the past. When something joyful happens and you feel expansive, grateful, or aligned, that moment gets stamped with positive feelings. Your subconscious picks up that vibe saying, "This is safe, this is real, let's create more of this." But if something painful occurs and you feel fear, shame, or helplessness, that moment turns into a warning sign. Those emotions set up boundaries, and your mind tries to steer clear of repeating that emotional experience, even when the situation could actually benefit you. Most people don't know this is happening. They wonder why certain patterns keep showing up, or why some dreams feel unreachable. The answer often lies in emotional coding. You might say you want more visibility, but if the last time you were noticed you felt rejected, your mind has tagged visibility as a threat. You might crave love, but if your last relationship ended in betrayal, your heart puts up emotional barriers, not to hurt you, but to keep you safe. The code doesn't judge, it simply records. You can rewrite the code. You're not stuck in past emotions. You can revisit any event, not to live it again, but to recode it. This doesn't mean ignoring the pain, it means bringing fresh energy to it now. Through understanding, compassion, and a new perspective, you start to tell a different emotional story about that moment, and that story sends out a new signal. You can also code your future. Before an important event, a job interview, a tough conversation, or a performance, charge it up with good feelings. Picture it going great. Feel the success, the ease, and the joy as if it's already happened. This isn't just about positive thinking, it's about energetic programming. You're giving your subconscious a new path to follow, a new code to match. Even the little moments count. How do you feel when sending an email? When you wake up? When you're making dinner? Each moment is a chance to imprint energy. That energy can either expand your experience or tighten it up. Emotional coding isn't about controlling every feeling. It's about being aware of what you're leaving behind in your timeline. What feelings are echoing for the universe? What emotions are you putting out there for what's next? Every coded moment creates ripples. Every ripple shapes your reality. So be intentional. Feel on purpose. The future doesn't just respond to your actions. It responds to how you feel when you act. Each day, you wake up carrying leftover thoughts and emotions from yesterday. Unresolved feelings and stuck energies can set your mood before you even start. Without thinking, you tune into a frequency you didn't consciously choose. That's how momentum builds, not from what you intend, but from what you repeatedly experience. That's why resetting your daily frequency is so important. It interrupts the automatic patterns. It clears out the old stuff and realigns your energy with who you want to be before the world gets its say. Most people wake up and immediately plug into their past. They check their phones, dwell on yesterday's problems, and pick up the same worries, whatever emotional default they're used to. Then they wonder why life feels like a loop. It's because their energy is looping. Their frequency is on autopilot. Nothing changes until the vibration shifts. The reset is simple, but requires action. It takes awareness and intention to make it happen. Before you dive into the world, take a moment to check in with yourself. Ask, how am I feeling right now? Am I anxious, scattered, or calm? Just notice what's happening without judging it. Then, decide how you want to feel today. Joy, peace, confidence, or ease. Pick a vibe and embody it. You can tap into that feeling through your body, your breath, your movements, the words you speak, the music you listen to, or even the silence you embrace. It's not about pretending to be happy. It's about tuning into the energy you want. Just like a musician tunes their instrument before playing, You need to align your energy before engaging with the world. If you don't, your actions might feel empty and your goals could seem unclear. You don't need a long time for this. Just a few mindful moments are enough to become the person who drives the day instead of just reacting to it. When you shift your energy first, everything else falls into place. Conversations become easier, decisions clearer, and the timing feels just right. Instead of hoping to feel good throughout the day, you start from a place of feeling good. This daily reset isn't about dodging challenges. It's about realizing that your energy matters more than your plans. When your energy is aligned, life shifts in ways you couldn't foresee. Opportunities arise and paths become clear, not because everything around you has changed, but because you've changed. This practice isn't a luxury. It's essential for anyone who wants to live with intention. Every morning, reset, recalibrate, and reclaim your vibe. Each new day is like a blank canvas, and how you wake up determines the colors of your day. There's a big change when you stop chasing the reality you want and instead live from that space now. This isn't about pretending or falsely portraying confidence. It's about becoming the version of you who already has everything you desire. That version doesn't wait for things to change. They feel different, and then everything else follows. Living from your desired reality is not just daydreaming. It's aligning your frequency with what's possible. Most people react to life instead of living it. They let circumstances control their feelings, their choices, and their hopes. They think, I'll feel better when things change. But that kind of thinking keeps them stuck. They're telling the universe that what they want is out there and not part of who they are now. As a result, it stays out there. But when you start living as if your desired reality is already here, everything shifts. You stop acting like someone who's waiting for change. You start being the person who knows what they want. You walk differently and speak more clearly. Doubt no longer gets a seat at the table, not because the outside world has changed, but because your internal world has leveled up. Reality can't help but mirror that change. To truly live in your desired reality, you've got to understand what it feels like. Not just how it looks, but how it moves through you. What's the energy of that version of yourself? How do they wake up? How do they deal with setbacks? How do they talk to themselves? You don't wait for those qualities to show up. You practice them now. You step into them before the world gets on board. This isn't about pretending obstacles don't exist. It's about not letting them define who you are. Make little choices every day that connect with your future, not your fears. Choose the food you eat, the way you carry yourself, the conversations you have, and the thoughts you nurture. Every choice is a vote for the version of reality you want. With each vote, you build momentum, you embody your desires, and it becomes inevitable. This practice isn't strict, it adapts. Some days, living from your desired reality means resting instead of pushing. Sometimes it means drawing a line you didn't before. Other times it's about letting go of what no longer fits, even if you used to want it badly. That's a sign you're evolving. You stop living for appearances and start living for what aligns with who you are. As you live more from this desired reality, you grow less tolerant of anything that contradicts it. Not from judgment, but from clarity. You see reality as a mirror. The clearer you embody your next level, the more accurately it reflects back to you. You're not chasing or asking anymore. You're simply being, and that state of being changes everything. You don't just visit the future, you live in it. And by doing so, you become proof that reality can shift. Change happens because you want it to. You're not just a mind dreaming up what could be, you're a body, a living, breathing instrument. When it comes to making new realities, your body is key. Sure, your mind can picture your future, but it's your body that remembers what feels comfortable, what feels safe. To really create the life you want, you need to bring that future version of yourself from just an idea into real feeling. You have to live that energy now, not just think about it. A lot of people try to manifest things just with their thoughts. They say affirmations, jot down goals, and picture their dreams. But if their bodies are stuck in old memories, old feelings, and old reactions, they won't move forward. Your nervous system clings to those old signals. So when something new shows up, even if it's what you truly desire, it can feel scary. That's resistance kicking in, not because your wish is too big, but because your body hasn't learned to embrace it. That's why it's crucial to embody what you want. You can't just think your way into a new life. You have to feel it, breathe it, and move with it. Teach your body what it feels like to be that version of you who already has everything: the calm, the confidence, the joy. These aren't just feelings, they are codes. When you keep experiencing those in your body, they become familiar and safe. And what's safe, that's what sticks. Start by becoming aware. Notice during your day when your body tenses, when your breath gets short, when your gut feels tight. Those are signs that the past is still influencing you, memories of someone you're trying to leave behind. Don't fight it, update it. Ask yourself, if my future self were here right now, how would they breathe, stand, or show up? Then change your posture, your pace, your tone. Let your body practice and feel that future. Keep at it until that future self no longer feels like someone you want to be, but someone you already are. You can anchor anything: financial abundance as ease in your belly, love as openness in your chest, purpose as calm in your spine. The more you practice those emotions, the closer you get to what you want. It doesn't wait for you to get everything just right. It responds to how clear and consistent your message is. You aren't just waiting for your future to show up, you're living it, training your body to hold that vision. And once your body says yes, once your nervous system begins to recognize that outcome as familiar, reality starts to shift. Not because you forced it, but because you learned to be the person who can handle it without hesitation. That's how the future comes to you, through your body, your breath, and the moment you finally say, I'm ready to feel this now. You're not on this journey alone. Even when it feels lonely, even when nobody understands your transformation, there's a whole network of support underneath it all. It's guiding you, nudging you, aligning all the pieces. You can't see it, but it's real. It's intelligent and reacts to your frequency. You don't have to figure out exactly how things will unfold. That's not your job. Your role is to stay in alignment, to listen, and to respond to those sudden impulses and nudges that come out of nowhere but feel certain. These aren't random hints. They're messages from that part of you that exists outside of time and knows the way, even when you can't see it. Many people miss these signals because they're too busy trying to control everything. They confuse force with power and structure with safety. But the support you need doesn't come from tension. It flows from trust. When you begin to relax into the idea that you're not alone, you become open to the help that's always been around you. This support shows up in various ways: a persistent idea, a stranger saying just what you needed to hear, a door opening when you were about to give up. You didn't create those moments. You tuned into them. Your energy sent out a signal, and the universe responded precisely. Yes, sometimes it feels quiet. Sometimes support doesn't look like a miracle. It appears as a setback, a change of direction, or an ending. But those moments are filled with intelligence too. The setback that taught you to be discerning, the pause that gave you space to grow, the detour that led you to something better than what you had imagined. Support might feel a bit awkward sometimes, but it's always got a purpose. To dive deeper into this network, start asking yourself, what would it be like to feel completely supported right now? Not when I have it all figured out, but now. Let that feeling sink in, carry it with you. Speak from that place. Make choices with the quiet confidence that something beyond your understanding is with you. Because it is. You're not meant to shoulder everything alone. You don't have to unravel every mystery on your own. The answers, the help, the timing, it's all part of the support that's already at work. Your job? Don't force it. Stay in tune with it. Trust in what you can't see yet. Remember, when you stop trying to handle it all by yourself, the network kicks in ways your mind can't even imagine. You're held, always, even in silence, especially then. A lot of folks move through life, heads down, chasing goals, and hoping the next step will lead to something better. But there's another way, a more empowered one. It doesn't start where you are, but where you want to be. This is about reverse engineering your reality. Instead of asking how to get there, ask, if I were already there, what would need to be true about who I am today? You stop building aimlessly and start aligning with intention. Use your future as a guide instead of your past. You already know how to reverse engineer. You've done it with problems before, retracing steps to find the cause. Now, do it with your potential. This time, trace it from vision to reality. Don't wait for your situation to show you what's possible. Let your dreams shape who you are today. Start with your desired outcome, the life you can vividly picture, the one you often put off as a someday dream. Bring it into focus. How do you live in that life? How do you talk? What habits are non-negotiable? What beliefs do you let go of? What energy surrounds you? Instead of viewing it as something distant, ask, what decisions would that future me have made 5 steps ago to get here? That's the trick. You reverse the journey, walk it backward, infuse your current self with the energy of completion. Think like the version of you that's already made it. By doing this, you collapse the time it takes to reach your goals. You're not just looking for the steps anymore, you're embodying the source. This method breaks down the idea that change has to be tough, slow, or painful. It shows you that clarity lies not just in the journey, but also in what's ahead. When you trust your vision enough to let it lead your next step, rather than your fears or past, you start to shift timelines. It's not just a theory, it's a real, visible change. Reverse engineering your reality doesn't mean pretending to be successful. It means analyzing the energy of your best self and aligning with it, bit by bit. You already know how this ideal version of you breathes, thinks, sets boundaries, and loves. You don't have to guess who you're turning into, you just need to remember and act it out. Start small, pick one outcome, one version of you. Ask yourself, what does this version of me believe today? What do they say yes to? What do they let go of? Then act on it. Let your actions become little markers that lead you back to your future. Watch as people, opportunities, and confirmations start to fall into place. You're not just building your life, you're decoding it from the end result. That's the real magic, the mastery. When you operate from the perspective of the version of you who has already made it, the future stops being something you chase. It becomes the path you walk with confidence, one aligned choice at a time. There's a moment when everything shifts, not because your situation changes, but because your energy does. A decision is made, not in your head, but in your being. You stop waiting, you stop hoping, you step into a new level of existence. This is the activation sequence, the precise alignment of energy that transforms potential into reality. It's the turning point where what you want stops being just an idea and turns into your life experience. Activation doesn't happen by chance. It's a mix of clarity, emotion, and choice. You feel that pull, recognize the gap between who you've been and who you're ready to be, and decide to close that gap, right now, not later, and not through force, but through alignment. The activation sequence is subtle but powerful. It's clean and focused. When everything aligns, the universe starts to respond instantly. You felt it before, even if you couldn't express it. That moment when something shifts, when you voiced a new truth and felt a change within you. When you walked away from what didn't fit with your vision and the world around you began to adjust. That wasn't just by chance. Activation doesn't take effort, it takes clarity. The journey starts with a decision, not a wish or a maybe, but a full-bodied yes. You set a new standard, a new identity, a new vibe. Let go of negotiating with your past. Stop arguing for your limitations. You don't need more time. The choice is now. Next comes embodiment. You start to feel what it's like to be that new version of you. Move with their confidence, speak with their certainty, react from their core, even if doubts creep in, even if your surroundings aren't aligned yet. You're not just pretending, you're practicing. And practice leads to permanence. Then you anchor it. This is where you hold on to that energy. You commit to this new state, even when old habits try to pull you back. Recognize fear as part of the adjustment, not a sign to stop. Stay in that new frequency long enough for your reality to shift, this time with certainty, not anxiety. You've already activated the change. It's not on the way, it's happening. This activation process isn't about doing more, it's about being precise. Tune your energy so completely that the universe can't help but respond. You don't chase or force, you emit, and that emission sends out a command. So ask yourself, what am I ready to activate now? What new version of me is ready to shine? Then decide. Embody it. Anchor it. Because once you activate that frequency, the outcome becomes inevitable. not because you pushed it, but because you've become the one who can hold it. That's the true power of transformation. It's not about creating, it's about activating. The moment you do, everything starts to shift. You aren't just a passenger in your life, you're the architect. Every thought, every assumption, every emotional reaction is a blueprint. Whether you know it or not, you're building something with every single one. Most people construct their lives unconsciously. They inherit blueprints from the past, frame them from fear, and lay foundations based on others' expectations. Then they wonder why life feels out of place. The architect's ritual is about claiming your authorship. It's stepping fully into your role as the designer, builder, and creator of your reality. This ritual isn't about control, it's about clarity. Approach each day like a blank canvas. Instead of waiting for life to happen, decide what you want to build. Don't wait for your mood to change. Don't wait for a sign, you become the signal. From that signal, your journey begins. Start with a vision. Before your day kicks off, take a moment just for yourself, not your to-do list, not your phone, just you. Ask yourself, what kind of experience do I want to create today? Connect with that version of you who isn't just reacting to life, but is actually shaping it. What energy do they have? What do they believe is certain? What choices do they make without second guessing? Next comes intention. Set the vibe for your day. It could be peace, power, or openness. Whatever it is, let it guide all your interactions, choices, and responses. You're not just hoping to feel that way, you're building from that state. This forms the heart of your ritual, an energetic framework before you take action. Now, embody it. Move through your morning as if the reality you're aiming for is already here. Talk, dress, and react as if it's true. This isn't about pretending, it's about aligning with your vision. When obstacles come your way, don't crumble. Adapt. Ask yourself, how would the architect of this moment redesign it? Adjust your mindset to match. As the day goes on, keep checking in. Is your foundation still solid? Are you acting from clarity or slipping back into chaos? If you find yourself drifting, take a moment to reset. The ritual hasn't failed just because you stumbled. It's grown deeper every time you return to it. Finally, end your day with some reflection. Look at what you created, not with judgment, but with awareness. What did you strengthen? What needs changing? What surprised you? It's not about being perfect, it's about being precise. You're not counting results, you're checking how things resonate. The architect's ritual is a daily commitment to the life you want to live. It reminds you that you're not a victim of circumstances. You're the one putting up the beams, the one setting the tone. And each new day isn't a fresh start, it's just another layer added to the life you're building with intention, alignment, and truth. That's what it means to be the architect. That's who you already are. For too long, you've been led to believe that control equals safety. If you can just manage the outcomes, anticipate the bumps, and plan for every possibility, everything will finally click into place. But that's the illusion of control. It's a tempting thought that keeps you trapped. Holding on tight to what feels safe often means we ditch what truly aligns with us. The final trick isn't really about having power, it's about fear dressed up as certainty. Control stems from a belief that, without your constant grip, everything will crumble. Your worth, your success, your stability, all tied to how well you can hold it together. But here's the kicker. The more you cling to control, the more you push against the natural flow of life. You start running the show, ignoring your gut feelings in favor of plans. You shove aside those moments of magic because they don't fit your logic. Bit by bit, you cut yourself off from the wisdom that's there to help you. You weren't meant to control everything. You were meant to create. And guess what? Creation thrives in ease, not tension. Surrender isn't about losing. It's about trusting, aligning, and letting go of needing to know every detail. It's about stepping into the mindset of someone who believes it's already done. Letting go of control doesn't mean ducking responsibility. It means shifting from force to flow. Think back to those times when things worked out better than expected. When you took a deep breath, let go, and saw what you feared fall apart actually fall into place. Those moments aren't just flukes. They remind us that the universe doesn't crave your control. It craves your coherence. When your energy aligns and your actions come from trust rather than panic, life responds beautifully. Letting go of control doesn't mean sitting back and doing nothing. It means taking the inspired actions you're meant to take and releasing the rest. It means being open to the idea that what you thought was the perfect plan might actually be too small. Sometimes what appears to fall apart is actually making space for something far beyond what you imagined. This final illusion of control fades away, not through struggle, but through awareness. The more you notice that urge to grip, to push, to predict, the more you can choose a different path. Pause, breathe, and ask yourself, what part of me is trying to manage this out of fear? Then step back into trust, remembering you're not alone in this journey. The deeper truth, the more you let go of control, the more your reality starts to revolve around your true essence, not your efforts. You become magnetic, not by striving, but by surrendering. You align with the version of yourself who already has what you seek, not because they fought for it, but because they embraced the flow. They let go of what they never should have held on to, and suddenly, everything changes. The illusion falls away, and you realize you were never supposed to control what happens. Your role is to embody the energy that makes it all fall into place. And that's not weakness, it's mastery. There comes a time in your journey when logic just doesn't cut it anymore. The steps that used to seem clear, the outcomes that felt predictable, all that begins to fade away. In that space, a powerful truth arises. What takes you to the next level isn't what got you here in the first place. Welcome to the paradox portal. It's a strange place where up feels like down, letting go draws you nearer, and surrender opens the door to real power. Most folks resist paradox because it messes with their minds. We want things neat and tidy, black or white, but growth rarely follows a straight line, and the universe, it doesn't play by those rules. It dances to its own rhythm. Paradox isn't a bug in the system. It's the key to your next evolution. It invites you to hold two truths at the same time. Take action, but let go of the outcome. Believe in things you can't yet see, and trust that being still is still a form of movement. You felt this before, like when you stopped chasing love and it came to you, or when you released control and everything fell into place. You let go of need, and suddenly gifts showed up. These weren't just coincidences, they were lessons. The universe was guiding you through a shift that can't be navigated by the mind alone. It requires you to embody this experience, to surrender, and to stop trying to figure it all out. The paradox portal doesn't demand you try harder. It wants you to raise your vibration. Live as if everything you desire is already done, even if you can't see it yet. Act with confidence in your success while releasing how and when it happens. Move from a place of abundance, not scarcity. These aren't just shifts in how you think. They are powerful transformations. When you align with the paradox, you tap into a realm beyond logic, where miracles happen. Yet it might feel unsettling. Your mind will want to cling to those old rules, asking, how can I believe it's done when there's no proof? Or how can I relax when nothing's working? That's where the real leap occurs, not a leap into action, but into a new way of thinking. You no longer need your outside circumstances to confirm your inner change. You choose to embody the frequency of what you wish to become. Right now, reality shifts to meet you. This portal isn't just a one-off moment. It's a practice that keeps living. Every time you hit a limit or the next feels fuzzy, you're being called to cross again. Soften when you want to control. Trust when the urge is to calculate. Listen when you feel like reacting. Each paradox opens a door, and each door leads you to the next you. Step through. Let logic untangle. Let contradictions guide you. In the space where nothing makes sense, everything falls into place. Paradox isn't confusion, it's growth. Once you pass through, you'll realize the things that seemed backwards were actually the keys to moving forward. There's a hidden strength most people never find because it looks like surrender. It doesn't roar or fight, it just allows. In that space of allowing, you unlock a level of influence and flow that resistance can't reach. That's real power, power found in non-resistance. It comes not from pushing against life, but from flowing with it, trusting it, and being so aligned that opposition fades away. Many think power means force. They're taught to push harder, fight longer, and be louder to prove themselves. But true power is quiet. It doesn't need validation or defense. It just knows. That deep knowing makes it unshakable. not by being stiff, but by being grounded. Non-resistance isn't weakness, it's mastery. It's the choice to meet life without tension, understanding that everything you come across either guides you, helps you grow, or clears your way. Resistance is like a contract with fear. It whispers, "I don't trust this, I need to protect myself." So you brace yourself, you control things, and you shut down your ability to receive. What you resist tends to stick around, not because it's meant to, but because you keep feeding it with your fight. Resistance doesn't solve the problem, it makes it bigger. Non-resistance, though, changes the entire game. When you stop pushing away what is, you stop being trapped by it. You create space for insights, movement, transformation. Instead of collapsing, you expand. You watch instead of react. You stop leaking energy and start to reclaim it. You've felt this before. That moment when you finally let go and everything started to flow. Things changed when you stopped holding on so tightly. When you let go of that urge to control everything, peace found you. It wasn't just luck, it was a sign. True strength isn't always in pushing harder. Sometimes it's found in stepping back. Non-resistance doesn't mean you agree with everything around you. It means you stop giving away your power to things you can't control. You begin to act from a place of calm, not chaos. You choose how to respond rather than just reacting. And from this grounded space, your presence becomes impactful, steady and unwavering. You start to influence the world, not by forcing it, but by dancing with its natural rhythm. It's how you calm storms, not by yelling at the wind, but by being the stillness within it. Life isn't about conquering, it's about aligning. You become so in tune with your own vibe that nothing shakes your center. That's where real change happens, not from struggling, but from resonating. So ease up, ask yourself, where are you gripping too tightly? Where are you trying to force something that just needs time to unfold? Let go. Relax your stance. Trust that there's wisdom amid the chaos. Real power is quiet. It's knowing that nothing outside of you is more potent than what's inside you. There's a rhythm under the noise, a current flowing beneath everyday life. It operates quietly, steadily, with precision. When you're in sync with it, everything feels easy. You don't have to fight for clarity. It comes to you. Timing finds you without the chase. This is the flow code, the energy of synchronicity, ease, and growth. It's not just luck or magic, it's the natural outcome of living in tune with life's frequency. Most people create through struggle. They chase goals, micromanage every detail, and resist uncertainty, disconnecting from the flow. They end up fighting against the current, relying on willpower instead of aligning with it. But real creation isn't a battle, it's living in flow. When you're in that state, you're not pushing to make things happen. You're attuned to what's already unfolding, responding instead of reacting. You've experienced it, those times when the right person called just when you needed them, or when the solution appeared before you even asked, or when you listened to your gut and it led to something far better than you expected. What we see aren't just odd moments, they're windows into the flow code at work. They show us there's a smarter force at play, a guiding intelligence we tap into when we let go of the need to control everything. To activate this flow code, you must first let go of your urge to control each little moment. Flow begins when you stop demanding everything to go according to plan. It takes off when you listen for guidance instead of fixating on timelines. You don't have to ditch your goals. You just need to ease up on how you want things to turn out. The entry point is being present. Flow lives right now. It's not buried in regrets from yesterday or worries about tomorrow. You need to be here, awake and ready to tune in. That's when you'll feel those nudges, notice the coincidences, and discover doors you didn't even know were there. Living by the flow code doesn't mean everything will be flawless. It means you'll stop fighting against imperfection. Instead of pushing against the moment, you'll learn to dance with it. You'll realize delays aren't setbacks, they're chances to recalibrate. Obstacles aren't roadblocks, they're new paths to follow. You'll start to see everything as part of a bigger picture, something to flow with instead of control. As you adopt this approach more often, the rhythm becomes easier to recognize. Your intuition sharpens, decisions become clearer, and you'll stop second-guessing yourself. Not because you have everything figured out, but because you've released the need to. Flow shows us that ease isn't laziness, It's smart. Grace isn't weakness, it's mastery. So take a moment, breathe, and ask yourself, where am I forcing things that want to flow? Then listen, adjust, and let go. Because once you stop battling the current, you'll remember what you already know. You weren't meant to struggle your way through life. You were meant to flow. And the code for that is already within you, just waiting for you to trust it. You've been taught to think that struggle is a badge of honor, that being exhausted proves you're ambitious. It's time to question that belief. What if there's another way? One that focuses on aligning deeply rather than pushing hard. This is grace over grind. It's the shift from forcing your way forward to allowing yourself to expand, not through laziness, but through harmony. Grinding comes from a mindset of lack. It tells you that if you pause, you'll lose momentum, that resting is a sign of weakness, and that worth comes from effort, not essence. So instead, hustle comes from a place of fear. You wear exhaustion like it's a trophy and mix up tiredness with progress. But working hard without finesse leads to emptiness. It's just movement with no purpose, creativity lacking connection. Grace doesn't mean you skip showing up. It means you show up in a different way, with presence, trust, and the understanding that being in tune will achieve more than rushing ever could. When you pick grace, you step into a space where the right actions become clear, where timing falls into place naturally, and where your energy fuels what truly matters instead of feeding what's broken. You've had those times before, the moments when everything just flowed, not because you forced it, but because you let it happen. Clarity doesn't come after hours of stressing. It arrives in the quiet moments of letting go. Opportunities pop up when you stop chasing them. That wasn't just luck. That was grace taking over while grind took a back seat. Choosing grace over grind doesn't mean you're being lazy. It's about being precise. It's moving when the signal feels right, not when fear says rush. It's listening to your body instead of ignoring its signals. Your worth isn't about how much you do, but how in sync you are with your actions. Grace opens you up to insights that grind simply can't touch because grace connects you to the bigger picture, while grind often pulls you away from yourself. This isn't about ditching discipline, it's about leveling it up. Discipline rooted in grace is sustainable and inspiring. It supports your growth rather than draining your spirit. It declares, I'm moving not to prove myself, but to express who I am. And from that place, everything shifts. The world may praise hustle, but you're wiser now. You realize your strongest moments come from aligning, not from struggling. It's about showing up with intention, not desperation, moving with the current, not fighting against it. So ask yourself, where am I forcing things when I could simply go with the flow? Where am I trying to earn what I can just embody? Then take a deep breath, realign, and let grace reveal what grind never could, that you are worthy right now, that you have support, and that you can create amazing results not despite ease, but because of it. This is the new way. Not burnout, but balance. Not pressure, but presence. Not hustle, but harmony. This is grace over grind, and it will carry you further than sheer force ever could. Beneath all the roles you play, the stories you tell, and the limits you've accepted, there's a version of you that's never known fear or brokenness. You've never been small. This is your infinite self, the part of you that fear can't touch. It's not shaken by what's happening around you, and it isn't bound by time. You might not always feel it, but it's always there, quietly watching, guiding, and patiently waiting for you to remember. Most people see themselves as fragmented. They link their identity to their wounds, doubts, and past experiences. They forget that who they truly are goes beyond what's happened. The infinite self isn't shaped by the past. It exists outside of it. It's that steady part of you that stays unchanged, no matter how much the world around you shifts. You've felt this self before, during quiet moments when your mind finally slowed down, or times when you took bold action without overthinking. It's in those instances when you felt an unexplainable peace. That wasn't just luck, it was your real self surfacing, not the version that seeks approval, but the eternal self that simply knows its worth. This self doesn't crave validation. It doesn't act out of fear or doubt its own value. Instead, it moves from truth and creates out of clarity. It doesn't force outcomes. It speaks, and reality rearranges itself to align with its energy. Remember, your infinite self isn't separate from the universe. It is the universe experiencing life through you. As you connect more with this self, your energy becomes more stable. You stop reacting to every trigger. You stop chasing after what you already are. You start moving differently. Not because life is perfect, but because you realize that chasing perfection was never the goal. Being present is what truly matters. The infinite self holds the keys to your next level, not just goals or achievements, but the essence of who you are. The version of you that no longer doubts or limits their power already exists. You're not trying to create that self, you're remembering how to reach them. Accessing that self starts with awareness. When fear arises, ask yourself, who is afraid? Is it my infinite self or my conditioned self? When doubt pops up, pause and think, what would my infinite self know right now? Let those questions guide you, not the noise or the stories, but the deep knowing, the stillness beneath the chaos. This journey isn't about escaping your humanity. It's about grounding yourself in your divinity while still honoring your human experience. You're allowed to feel, to question, and to grow. But you don't have to shrink down to a smaller version of yourself every time. When things get tough, you can always come back to the part of you that has never left. That part that already exists. The infinite self doesn't wait around or wish, it simply is. Once you embrace that, you stop searching for alignment and start living it. That's when life starts to flow, reality shifts, and you become unstoppable. Not because you've changed, but because you've finally remembered who you've always been. There's no distance between you and the universe. No separation between your consciousness and the great intelligence that moves the planets, grows the forests, and beats hearts without needing direction. That same intelligence flows through you, speaks through you, creates through you. You're not just tapping into it, you are it. This universal intelligence isn't something you access, it's something you embody. The more you realize this, the less you chase after answers, and the more you become the source. Many people think wisdom, guidance, and clarity are out of reach, locked away in books or waiting in teachers to be discovered. They believe they must earn understanding or prove their worthiness to uncover truth. But truth isn't far away or hidden, it's your natural state. When you quiet the noise, strip away the fear and self-doubt, what rises isn't emptiness, it's knowing. It's a clarity that doesn't come from logic. It's universal intelligence speaking through you. This intelligence doesn't think in words, it feels. It doesn't need to justify itself, it simply is. That gut feeling, that inner nudge, that sudden clarity you can't explain. It's not borrowed intuition. It's the universe expressing through your unique frequency. Your job isn't to question it, it's to trust it. You've felt this before. Moments when the words flowed before you even thought them, when solutions showed up in stillness, when you just knew something deep inside without any logical reasoning. Those weren't flukes. They were moments of alignment, when your mind let go and intelligence flowed freely through you. That's why overthinking steals your power. The mind tries to own what isn't its. Intelligence doesn't come from you, it flows through you. The clearer your channel, the stronger the signal. When you let go of the need to figure everything out and return to stillness, wisdom emerges. It doesn't come from pushing hard, but from being open. You're not just a small part trying to reconnect to the big picture. You are the whole thing, just showing up as a piece for a little while. The more you understand this, the less you have to force things. You stop asking, what should I do? And start tuning in to what wants to flow through you. You become a channel, not one for emptiness, but for limitless power. So when confusion kicks in, go back to your center. When doubts cloud your mind, return to the present moment, not because it brings answers, but because it uncovers what's always been there. You are not less than the universe. You are not apart from the source. You are its expression. When you live from this place, not just in your head, but in your energy, everything starts to shift. Not because you made it happen, but because you finally let it happen. Universal intelligence isn't just around you, it's you, awake and ready. When you stop searching and start listening, you'll hear it say, "Welcome back." You've been waiting. For a sign, for the right moment, for someone to acknowledge your potential. You've been taught to tread carefully, to stay inside the lines, to aim for what's realistic. Yet deep down, you knew you were meant for so much more. Not more struggle or more noise, but more freedom, more growth, more self-expression. It's time for that. This chapter is your green light to be limitless, not because you've earned it, but because you've always been it. Limits are learned, shaped, and handed down by well-meaning folks who believe them, but they are not the truth. They're agreements. And guess what? Any agreement can be changed. The belief that you must keep small to be safe, or that you should dim your light to keep others comfortable. The habit of doubting your gut because it doesn't make sense. That's not truth. Those things are cages, invisible bars, but you can step out of them just by choosing to. Being limitless doesn't mean doing it all. It means remembering that nothing real can block what's meant for you. It means giving yourself the go-ahead to be bigger than the version the world expects. The moment you let go of needing to fit into something smaller, your energy expands. Doors swing open. People react differently. New chances begin to pop up around the bigger space you now take up. Not because something out there has changed, but because you have. Have you ever felt those moments when you stopped seeking approval and just moved forward? When you followed that little nudge inside, even though fear was creeping in, and everything just clicked? That wasn't rebellion. It was your true self breaking free from old stories. You don't need to fight to be your best self. Just stop saying sorry for simply being you. No one's going to show up and say it's okay to live fully. That's up to you. You have to grant yourself permission, not just once, but every single day. Every time you choose to go after your dreams instead of waiting for someone else's approval, every time you stand tall and own your space, because you know you belong, that's the shift. Being limitless doesn't mean you won't feel fear. It means you won't let fear govern you. Fear becomes just information to consider, not a command to follow. You recognize your power, not because everything's perfect, but because you know who you really are beyond all the noise. So today, give yourself the green light you've been waiting for. The green light to stop trying to earn what's already yours. The freedom to speak, move, and live as the person who never had to shrink themselves down. You're not too much. You're finally fitting into the size that matches your true calling. Limitless isn't a place you reach. It's something you remember. And when you remember, everything around you starts to shift. The only limits that existed were the ones you were taught to believe in. Now, you're free. You're not meant to play by outdated rules. You're not meant to manifest your dreams slowly, just by grit and determination. You're a quantum creator, designed to shape your reality with your intentions, your energy, and your alignment. This mindset isn't about doing more, it's about thinking bigger. It's about shifting from constant effort to just being, from reacting to choosing. Once you embrace this, you stop chasing after your desires. Instead, you become the version of yourself that already lives those dreams. See, most people live from the outside in. They let their circumstances dictate their mood, their thoughts, and who they think they are. But a quantum creator lives from the inside out. They know their inner feelings create the world around them. You don't wait for proof to believe. You believe, and then the evidence lines up with that belief. This mindset is built on certainty, not the kind that waits for guarantees, but the kind that decides beforehand. You choose the reality you want, and you align with it. When you connect with the version of yourself that's already living your dream, you can sense the outcome even before it arrives. You don't have to force anything or chase how it'll happen. Instead, you stay grounded in the energy of I am and let the universe do its magic, responding to your alignment. You've felt this before, when everything just flowed, when you were in sync and the right person called or the perfect opportunity showed up. That wasn't just luck, that was quantum alignment. You didn't make it happen, you became the match for it. The trick is simple. You're not pulling things toward you. You're shifting into a reality where those things already exist. This mindset doesn't get rid of fear completely, but it makes fear feel less important. You don't wait to feel totally ready. You act anyway. The identity you're stepping into is louder than any doubt. A true quantum creator knows that old beliefs and patterns don't fit into this new timeline. You don't control the quantum field. Your job is to resonate with what you want to experience. And resonance comes from more than just repeating affirmations. It comes from embodying your new identity, making choices that reflect who you're becoming, and living each moment as that future you. So ask yourself, what does the quantum creator in me believe right now? What choices would they make? How would they show up? Then take action. Do it consistently until this new frequency feels like your norm and your life starts to mirror the power you've reclaimed. The quantum creator's mindset isn't about fixing what's wrong. It's about remembering what's possible. It's stepping from a place of reaction into intention. And when you do this, you'll realize you weren't waiting for your future to start. You've always been just one decision, one alignment, one shift away. You are the creator, and reality is waiting for you to remember that. There's a big difference between understanding something and truly becoming it. You can read all the books, talk the talk, and recite your affirmations, but until your body truly believes it, it stays just theory. Embodied knowing is when your truth moves from being a concept to living in your very being. It's when what you believe doesn't just stay in your head, it radiates from who you are. It's not something you struggle to remember, it's something you naturally show to the world. Many stop at just knowing intellectually, thinking that awareness alone is enough. But while awareness is the doorway, embodiment is the journey forward. Embodiment is when that shift really settles into your body. It's when your choices genuinely reflect your truth, effortlessly. Your actions aren't about discipline, they come from being in tune with who you are. That's when knowledge feels real. That's when your vibe speaks louder than your words. Embodied knowing is calm. It doesn't have to prove anything or convince anyone. It doesn't fight for its worth. It simply exists. You've noticed it in others, right? How someone can walk into a room and instantly shift the energy, making you feel more centered just by being nearby. That's not charisma, that's coherence. It's truth in action. This deep understanding develops through practice, not just thinking, but living through experiences. You show your body repeatedly what it feels like to be your best self. You walk a bit differently, you speak more clearly, you take fuller breaths. You start treating your future like a memory instead of a dream. With every repeat, your cells start to believe you. You've experienced it before. Those moments when you didn't try to be confident, you just were. When your response flowed without a plan, when you weren't chasing love but embodied it, and it showed up. Those moments weren't flukes. They were glimpses of your true self, unclouded by fear. The more you embrace those moments, the more they become your new normal. Embodied knowing is also what keeps you steady when things get shaky. When doubt creeps in or old stories come back, you won't crumble. Your knowing is strong. It doesn't disappear. It's something you return to. You've grounded it, lived it, without needing to justify it. So, how do you deepen this knowing? You practice it in everyday moments, not just during meditation or journaling, but while making coffee, answering emails, or facing discomfort. Ask yourself, what would the version of me who already knows do right now? And then just do that over and over until it becomes second nature. Embodied knowing is the key to manifestation. The universe doesn't respond to what you understand. It responds to who you are. It aligns with not what you say, but what you embody. When your inner truth is undeniable, the outside world has no choice but to reflect it. That's the magic of embodiment. It's the difference between just knowing something in your head and fully becoming it. There comes a point where you stop chasing, stop asking, and stop trying to attract. You start to see that the best thing you can do isn't about forcing it, but about matching your vibe. It's about being clear and in sync. When you become the signal, you align so closely with the reality you want that you're not just asking for it, you're living it. Think of most people as radios, endlessly twisting knobs, trying to find the right channel. They're searching for the right techniques or timing. But the real signal doesn't come from what you do. It comes from who you are. When you match your inner state to the life you wish to live, you stop searching for the signal and start sending it out. You felt this before, those moments when nothing was forced, yet everything just clicked. You were flowing with joy and certainty, and life responded in kind. That wasn't luck. That was you becoming the signal, your vibe attracting the right people and opportunities, all without effort. Remember, Becoming the signal isn't about being perfect. It's about being present. It's not about pretending everything's okay. It's tuning your energy to the truth of who you are, even when your situation doesn't reflect that yet. You walk through uncertainty with trust, carrying the vibe of abundance, even if your bank balance hasn't caught up. You're showing what's already real in the quantum world. This doesn't mean ignoring your feelings or pretending you're not human. It means deciding not to let the low vibes take control. Feel your fear, but act from strength. Feel your doubts, but still speak as if your truth is already here. You become the signal because you keep choosing alignment time after time. The world responds not to what you want, but to what you consistently radiate. Wanting sends out lack. Becoming sends out wholeness. When you live as if it's already done, you don't attract things by pulling them in. You anchor into a reality where they already exist. You don't need to convince the universe of anything. All you need to do is convince yourself. And once you do that, once your being is filled with the energy of your next level life, everything shifts, not slowly or randomly, but exactly as needed. Becoming the signal opens new doors. Striving and starting to embody your truth means you stop waiting for the world to give you a thumbs up. You realize that you are the validation. The signal isn't something you chase, it's who you are. When you really embody that, everything else aligns. There's a big shift when you stop asking, "How will this happen?" and start living like it already has. You stop hanging around in the energy of questions and start being the answer. Living in the answer doesn't mean ignoring reality. It means shaping it. It's the difference between waiting for clarity to drop in your lap and becoming the clarity even before the world acknowledges it. Many folks get stuck in a loop of questions, searching for guidance and signs. They always feel one step away from what they want. They stay in that seeking vibe, and their reality matches it. More seeking, more uncertainty, more delays. The universe doesn't respond to your words, it responds to your state. If your state is filled with questions, the answers will always seem just out of reach. Living in the answer takes a leap of faith. It means you stop thinking you're missing something. You start with the belief that everything you need is already here. Your only job is to align with it. You go through your day as someone who already knows, trusts, and receives. And from that place, the next steps come to you, not because you chased them, but because you became the person who doesn't need to. You know that moment when you finally let go of overthinking and suddenly clarity hits? That wasn't random. That was a shift in your energy. You moved from resistance to receiving, from lack to embodiment. That's what it means to live in the answer. When you do, your energy changes. You talk differently, make different choices. You stop asking, "What if it doesn't work?" and move with the quiet confidence of course, it's working. That confidence isn't arrogance, it's alignment. It's the natural state of someone who knows the answer is never outside of them. It's already in the air around us, accessed through our energy. Living this way doesn't mean you ignore reality. It means you become the cause instead of the effect. You don't wait for the outcome to show up. Recognize your energy. Let your energy shape your outcomes. This is when life starts responding to you, instead of you just reacting to it. You've made a choice, not just in your mind, but in your whole being. You already have the answers. You're already the version of yourself that lives this. So the next time you're caught in a whirlpool of uncertainty, pause. Ask yourself, what would it feel like if I already knew? Take a breath and sink into that feeling. Let it guide you, let it speak through you, and influence how you show up. When you live in the answer, the questions lose their hold. What once seemed unreachable becomes your new norm, not through hard work, but through alignment. Remember, your life isn't just a snapshot of your past. It's a holographic mirror. It shows not only what you believe, but also who you are right now. It reflects your actions and responds to your energy, your assumptions, your vibe. What you witness outside is a vivid projection of what's happening within. This isn't just a metaphor, it's how things work. Once you get the concept of the holographic mirror, you stop trying to alter the reflection and focus on changing the signal that creates it. Most people treat life like it's a flat mirror. They look at their situation and think, "This is me, this is what I have, this is all that's possible." It's like yelling at a mirror to smile before you do. It just doesn't work that way. The holographic mirror doesn't lead, it follows. It shows whatever image you hold and reinforces whatever belief you embody. Your world isn't happening to you, it's happening through you. That's why doing inner work is crucial. You can't just rearrange the surface to create a better reality. You need to go to the source, your vibe, your self-image, your dominant emotional state. If you want a new experience, you must first become the version of you that naturally fits into that experience. And as you change, the mirror updates in real time. But this mirror is more than flat. It's holographic. It reflects not just your surface thoughts, but also your deep-seated programming, your fears, your unspoken expectations. It echoes through timing, through people, through patterns. A delay might show your doubts. A closed door could mirror your inner resistance. A lucky opportunity might reveal your alignment. Everything is feedback. Everything has a purpose. When you realize this, you stop taking things personally. You stop reacting and start observing. You think, what is this moment teaching me about my vibe? You don't blame what you see. You interpret it. You don't freak out if the picture isn't right. Instead, you connect with the version of you that sees things differently. That's the real strength. That's the shift. You won't feel trapped anymore because the mirror isn't set in stone. It flows just like you do. And here's the best part. The holographic mirror shows more than just what's there. It reveals what's possible. As you embrace feelings like gratitude, trust, and joy, you start to notice fresh patterns in your life. New paths come into focus. You're not just dreaming them up, you're tuning into them. The mirror reflects the next chapter of your life before it's even tangible, and your role is to grow into the kind of person who fits there. So quit arguing with your reflection. Start adjusting your vibe. You're not meant to just react to the scene, you're here to shape it. The moment you shift, everything around you shifts too. This isn't magic, it's a law. The mirror reflects who you choose to become. There comes a time when all your awareness, all your growth, leads you to a point of change. You've let go of the lies, updated your beliefs, and stepped into new paths that align with higher vibes. You've seen your life transform, but something lingers, a quiet pattern, a hesitation, a loop that tries to pull you back just as you're ready to jump. This is the final loop. It's the last piece of your old self trying to cling to who you're becoming. And it doesn't always scream for attention. Sometimes it's subtle, a choice to play it safe, to hold back, to stay in what's familiar even when deep down you know it's time to move on. It shows up as hesitation, procrastination, or in the stories you tell yourself. When you almost say yes, but end up saying maybe later. It's not even about fearing failure anymore. It's about fearing the person you've never allowed yourself to be. This loop isn't out there. It's in your nervous system. It's the memory of survival that still thinks the past might come back. It believes that being fully visible means rejection, and that receiving too much could mean loss. This final loop rarely makes sense. Emotions are vibrant and intense. Because of this, they can't just be understood. They have to be experienced and let go. To break free from the final loop isn't about putting in more effort. It's about embracing a deeper truth. You don't need another tool. You need a true decision, a heartfelt realization that says, I don't belong there anymore. Then you act from that understanding. Do it before you feel ready, before everything seems perfect, before the mirror fully shows the change. You choose to break free, not through force, but by refusing to play the old role again. This moment is special because that loop isn't a barrier. It's a doorway, a challenge from the universe asking if you're truly ready to step into that new life you've been wanting. Not just in thought, but in your very being. Are you prepared to speak, decide, and take risks as that new version of yourself, even if it goes against your past? You break the cycle by becoming someone unrecognizable to the old patterns that shaped you. Stop trying to heal your way forward and start living your way out. This isn't about forgetting your past. It's about no longer being tied to its energy. The final loop will test your courage, but once you push through it, something changes forever. The pull of your past weakens, and the energy of your future becomes your present. Fear transforms into freedom. You're not going in circles, you're soaring. And this time you won't look back because the person who lived in that loop isn't you anymore. There's a difference between knowing and truly becoming. It's one thing to learn the truth and another to live it. To walk as the code means you're not just studying how to transform, you are transformation itself. You've embodied the truth so deeply that it's not just something you do, it's who you are. Your very presence becomes a message, and your life becomes evidence. Many people spend years gathering wisdom. They read, listen, and absorb. That knowledge can make a difference and open new doors, but knowledge alone won't change your reality. It's embodiment that makes the difference. And embodiment starts when you stop seeking answers outside and realize that you are the answer. The truths you're searching for are already a part of you. They don't need to be discovered. They need to be remembered and lived. Walking as the code means every step reflects the frequency you've claimed. Your actions need to match your words. Your vibe comes before your explanations. You don't just talk about trust, you live it. You don't just imagine abundance, you act like someone who truly has it. This isn't about putting on a show, it's become your everyday way of life. This is where your identity starts to catch up with your awareness. Integrity becomes your foundation. It's not enough to just get manifestation and alignment anymore. You bring them to life in how you stand, in your voice, in how you create space around you. You do this not just when people are watching, but when no one is around. When you embody the code, you don't need an audience to ground your truth. You've felt those moments when you choose from a place of knowing, not needing proof, when you let go of the old way of being without a backup plan. That wasn't just a whim, it was the code flowing through you. Your higher self was taking charge. Each time you trust that rhythm, it grows stronger, clearer, more ingrained in you. Walking as the code doesn't mean you won't trip up, but you'll know how to get back on track. Your truth becomes rock solid, so fleeting emotions can't shake it. You rely on your inner authority, not on outside validation. You trust yourself deeply, not because you never have doubts, but because you understand who you are, even when the chaos surrounds you. When you walk as the code, you become the signal. You don't need to convince anyone of your vibe. They sense it and respond. Life starts to work itself around your harmony. Opportunities find you. Relationships mirror your truth. Synchronicities become your new normal, not just happy surprises. So stop waiting for confirmation. You are the confirmation. You are the embodiment, the anchor. Let your steps show your frequency. Let your choices create the next chapter of your journey. You aren't waiting for the next lesson. You're living it fully and powerfully. You've already downloaded the truth. Now it's time to step into it. Each step is a message. Every moment is a statement. You're not just discovering who you are, you're living it. There's a common belief that change takes time, that transformation is a long, winding road. But the truth, time isn't the gatekeeper. Your state is. The moment you shift your state, your reality starts to change, not just in theory, but through experience. The instant shift technique is not about skipping your process. It's about remembering that your power to align and decide is right here, right now. Not after healing, not after proof. Right now. An instant shift doesn't mean that everything in your life changes all at once. It's about changing your position within it. You move from resistance to acceptance, from fear to trust, and from feeling like there's never enough to feeling sufficient. And because reality responds to how you feel, even before your surroundings start to change, the energy around you starts to shift. You begin to see things differently, speak differently, and make choices based on this new energy. That's the shift, the activation. It all starts with awareness. You need to notice when you slip back into old habits or thought patterns that don't match who you're becoming. Instead of judging yourself, simply acknowledge it. Say, "This isn't my truth anymore." That awareness breaks the spell. It creates space for you to make a new choice. Most people remain stuck because they believe they need to feel different before they can change. But remember, feeling follows energy, and energy follows choice. Next comes the pivot. The instant shift technique is straightforward yet powerful. Ask yourself, what state am I in right now? Then ask, what state would I prefer to be in? Now close your eyes, take a breath, and picture yourself stepping into the version of you that's already in that desired state. Not just as a thought, but as your identity. Let your body move, soften your face, and let your energy adjust. You're not pretending, you're choosing. you're shifting. Even just 30 seconds in this new state can transform your day and your path ahead. You've interrupted the cycle and told the universe, we're doing this differently now. That moment of alignment is enough to change your course, to invite a new thought, a fresh decision, or a new opportunity. This isn't about forcing things. It's about returning to a state of coherence. The instant shift doesn't need everything to be perfect. It works best in the chaos. It's those times when you could spiral out but choose not to. It's those moments when you might collapse but instead pause and pivot. That's self-leadership at the quantum level. You become so in tune with your energy that you don't stay misaligned for too long. Practice this throughout your day. Don't wait for a big moment. Use this tool in the smaller times, when your mood dips, when doubts creep in, or when everything seems fine but you just don't feel right. Catch it. Choose to shift, breathe, and realign again and again until shifting becomes second nature. You're not stuck. You're not waiting. You're only ever one conscious breath away from a new reality. And once you remember that, once you reclaim your energy, everything starts to change. You want that instant shift. You've been hoping for proof that it's working, proof that you're on the right track. But here's the thing. Proof isn't permission. It's not the starting line. It's more like an echo that comes after you've aligned. The moment you decide to stop needing outside validation to move forward, that's when you truly regain your creative power. Because proof isn't a must-have, it's just feedback. Many people hold back from living their truth because they haven't seen the evidence yet. They think, I'll believe it when I see it. But they miss the big picture. Seeing is a result of believing. Waiting for proof is like saying you won't turn on the light until the room is already lit. You've got to create that signal first. You've got to live the frequency before the reflection shows up. Remember, proof doesn't hold the authority. You do. You don't need the universe to validate what you already feel deep down. When you change your view of proof from a necessity to something that just responds, everything shifts. You stop the chase and start aligning. You begin living as the person who knows it's already done. You become the evidence, and from there, your reality starts to change. This doesn't mean you ignore results. It just means you aren't controlled by them. You start viewing reality as a mirror instead of a master. If something isn't working, it's not a cue to give up. It's feedback. A chance to reflect and ask yourself, what am I putting out there? What frequency am I living in? When you see proof as feedback, you become adaptable. You adjust, you learn, you realign, not from a place of lack, but from curiosity. This shift releases you. No more waiting for signs to believe. You become the sign. You show up fully and boldly, without looking for immediate confirmation. Ironically, that's when confirmation rolls in. The universe isn't testing you. It's simply mirroring you. When you stop needing proof to take action, that proof starts to show up. You've felt this before. Those moments when doubt faded and everything fell into place. When you made a brave choice and life responded with synchronicity. That wasn't just luck, it was harmony. Your outer world changed because your inner world shifted. You didn't wait for the change, you became it. So ask yourself, where am I holding back my energy because I haven't seen enough yet? Then choose differently. Decide to act from a place of knowing. Let your alignment be the evidence you carry. Let your trust be louder than your timeline. Let your presence be the call for the next chapter. Proof isn't where you find your source. It's more like a reflection, a whisper that encourages you, saying, yes, you're on the right path. But remember, it follows your choices, not the other way around. So take that leap and hold on to your vibe. Let reality catch up with you. You've never needed permission. You're meant to move forward in faith and let the proof come to you. The strongest influences in your life are the ones you can't see. Energy, intention, belief, emotion, and identity, these are your reality's builders. It's not just what you do that matters, but the unseen vibe you live in. Mastering this invisible side means switching from chasing results to being the source of them. It's about fine-tuning your inner world so perfectly that the outer world has to reflect it back to you. Many people try to fix their lives by reshuffling the visible parts, jobs, relationships, routines. But the visible is just an echo, a shadow. If you want real change, you've got to dig deeper into the unseen. Go to the vibrations behind the words, the feelings beneath the thoughts, the beliefs under the actions. You can't outsmart an invisible pattern you refuse to see. To master the invisible, you need to realize that reality always reacts to your dominant frequency, not just the mood you dip into occasionally, but the energy you consistently live in. Everything physical started as energy. What you experience now was once just a signal sent out by your thoughts, a story you told yourself, a feeling you practiced until it felt normal. That's why changes on the surface often don't stick. The underlying signal hasn't changed. You can speak new affirmations, but if the core belief is rooted in lack, the field pays attention to that deeper signal. You can act differently, but if fear fuels those actions, then the results show that fear back at you. It's not punishment, it's clarity on where your alignment lies. Mastering the invisible isn't about controlling every single thought. It's about being aware of your overall signal. What energy do you wake up with? What story do you fall asleep to? What emotional tone flows through your day, though unspoken, yet powerful? These threads make up your vibration, and you have the power to choose them. You've already felt the shift on those days when everything clicked. You don't need to change everything, but when you find that stillness, everything just clicks. It's in those moments of being truly present when the answers come to you. Clarity arrives when you stop grasping for it. That's the invisible force working for you, not through struggle, but through alignment. To get a handle on the invisible, start with stillness. Be present. Listen, not to the chatter in your head, but to the quiet wisdom beneath it. Ask yourself, what energy am I putting out right now? Does it match the life I want? If it doesn't, shift your approach. Change it through your breath, gratitude, awareness, or even a single new thought that you really embrace, not just repeat. Your real strength isn't in what you can prove, it's in living out what you truly are without needing proof. The invisible isn't just some abstract idea, it's the source of everything. The more you understand it, the more smoothly your visible world falls into place. You don't have to see it to trust it, feel it, and lead with it. That's where creation starts, every time. You've spent years working on yourself, getting better, clearer, more deserving. Becoming has shaped your growth, your healing, your ambitions. But eventually, you might realize that becoming is just another way to delay things, another way of saying, I'm not there yet. What if the journey isn't about becoming at all? What if the real task is to remember and simply be who you already are? The end of becoming opens the door to being. It breaks the idea that you must strive to find alignment, or that you need to do more to deserve more. You don't always have to chase after the next level before you can relax, accept, and embrace what's already part of you. This isn't about being complacent, it's about finding clarity. You stop chasing growth just for growth's sake and start grounding yourself in the truth. Becoming suggests that who you are now is somehow lacking, but your completeness isn't stuck in a future dream. It's right here. It's always been with you, maybe hidden or forgotten, but never gone. The end of becoming doesn't mean you stop expanding. It means you stop putting off your power, thinking you need to earn it first. You've felt this before, the moments when you stopped trying so hard and simply trusted. The times when rather than fixing, you let things flow. When you let go and just be. It's a story about growth and being present. In those moments, instead of trying to become someone, you simply are. Life doesn't make you wait, it aligns with you instantly. Being is magnetic. It doesn't seek approval. It is the approval. When you stop the endless chase of becoming, you start living in the truth of who you already are. You're not asking, how do I get there anymore? Instead, you wonder, what does it feel like to already be there? You make decisions from a place of wholeness, not from a sense of lack. You act with the energy of I am instead of I'm trying. This shift doesn't mean you stop growing. It means your growth comes from abundance, not from feeling unworthy. You're not climbing a mountain to prove your value. You're creating from an overflow of it. Your evolution becomes a celebration of your true self, not a reaction to insecurities. So take a moment, breathe deeply, and ask yourself what you're still trying to become that you already are. Then choose to be that now. Speak from that place. Move from it. Make decisions based on it. You're not on a journey to get somewhere. You're already resonating with that frequency. Everything else is just catching up. This marks the end of becoming, the end of searching, the end of delays. It's the beginning of a truth that's always been there. You're not trying to be powerful, aligned, or worthy. You're simply remembering you always were. Now, you're ready to live like that's the only truth that matters. You've been decoding the universe, its patterns, laws, and hidden rhythms. You've grasped concepts like manifestation, energy, and alignment. But here's the final piece that changes everything. You're not just interacting with the universal code, you are the code. You're not an outsider learning it, you're expressing it with every breath, thought, and choice. The wisdom you've studied is alive within you, moving through you, reflecting outwards. You're not just receiving instructions, you are the instruction, written in the frequency of consciousness, empowered to create, influence, and shape realities. Your thoughts are not random, they're blueprints. Your feelings are not passing, they're energetic scripts. Your presence isn't neutral, it's the force that signals the universe what to become. You've felt this before. Those moments when everything aligns so perfectly, it leaves you breathless. The timing was too precise, the change too swift, the synchronicity too deep to chalk it up to mere chance. That wasn't just luck from the universe. That was you, responding to your own power. When you tap into a part of your own code, reality reacts like a mirror reflecting your energy. You are both the pattern and the projector, the dream and the dreamer. The universe doesn't just act randomly, it lines up with your strongest frequency. And that frequency? It's shaped by who you are in each moment. When you shift, your code updates right away. That's why even small changes inside you can create big waves outside. You don't have to know all the details. You're living out the mechanics. Being part of this universal code doesn't mean you'll never have doubts or feel human. It means you stop thinking of yourself as small. You become aware of your impact, your responsibility. Every space you enter changes because of your energy. Every word you speak has a vibration that resonates far beyond what you can see. This isn't a burden, it's your power. It's your chance to stop searching and start showing the world who you are. You've reached a place where you don't need to become anything more. You're here to uncover the real you. You're not here to learn how to manipulate reality. You're here to remember that reality is made of you, your frequency, your wisdom, your coherence. And as you embody that truth, the world reshapes, not because you're forcing it, but because it simply has to. That's what happens when the code runs smoothly. So now, you don't chase after things. You don't wait or beg. You stand tall, speak out, and share your energy. Each breath, each step, each thought aligns with the truth that your very presence ignites change. You're not just wandering through the universe trying to find where you belong. You are the universe, revealing one of its endless possibilities through your existence. This chapter, this life, is where you finally remember. You're not just the creator. You are the code that creation has always been ready to use.